categories. It's equal between the men and the women's races. The category 6 men leading the charge in the men's race here in Zurich, off from the line. An absolutely huge race field. I hope they've got their climbing legs with them today.
Well, if they have a choice of legs, those climbing legs are the ones that have come out of the wardrobe. The overall standings, Marius Fossey, we said, was at the top. Riley Milostic in 2.
Milostic holding second place. He moved up from 8th place into 2nd place to take that. The rest of the riders, every single rider apart from Fossey, changing position within the top 10 places yesterday. But let's put that into context. The top 10 are separated by 11.997 seconds. So basically 12 seconds covers the riders that you see on the left of your screen. And on that basis, realistically, today it really is up for grabs because with no yellow jersey, and that's going to really change that competition. Sprint competition, super close.
It is super close. Stephen Tigert, the rider, with 26 points leading, 2 points clear of Escobar, and just look at that, 5 points clear of Sponsel. And Sponsel didn't compete in that competition in day 1 at all. So he's picked up those points on stage 2 and stage maximum points, huge points for him on stage 3, moving him up into 3rd overall. In the King of the Mountains competition, it's not quite as close. Julio Arrego has 33 points, Carabona 27, and Toro 14. Toro not picking up any points in that competition yesterday. Well, we're going to see who picks up the climbing points today. And the first of those is going to come very, very shortly. They're coming across the bridge now, across the water here in Zurich. They're going to swing onto the straight. The next turn they take is the right-hander onto the climb.
So the climb coming up very, very quickly indeed. Let's see who is going to be taking away the places, the positions today. It's all about that run in to the finish when we get to the end. But before that, who is going to climb? This group is together, Emma, with the polka dot jerseys in there as we make our way in through. And got to say, in that competition, Arrego, with those 33 points ahead of Carabona, Toro, Fossey, Rooney and Diaz in that overall competition. I think today, Arrego really has to show that he can climb, but Toro we know can climb well as well.
Yes, we do. And I think also there are other riders in here who can push on. Julio Arrego on our screens at the moment. Great to see him. Great shot, actually, of the pain cave there. And the setup with what looks like the iPad in front of him. Lots of riders and racers using different types of devices. Some with big screens, some with iPads, some with laptops. All sorts of different ways to ride and race on MyWhoosh. But Arrego right at the front here as we push into the climb now. Robert Cronget is the rider pushing on. Peter Cridland coming up into 2nd. Arrego covering the move. Looks like Category 6 have decided today is all or nothing. Well, Cronget at the moment pushing on. Carabona, Cridland, Silva, Arrego, Milano and Montoya all looking to cover the move. The pack behind at the moment settling in, but you can see the damage already done on the top right-hand corner of your screen. The Category 6 pack is a long, long line of riders. As you see the tram come up on the side of the riders, I bet 1 or 2 of them would like to hitch a lift.
You just want a sticky bottle. You want one of those sort
of
a sticky bottle being held out of the cab of the.
Could you imagine the UCI fine?
Well, it'd be more than the 125 Swiss francs fine that it is the standard fine that you can't contest that. Below a certain level, it's uncontestable.
Wow, excellent! I love to hear these things, and you know.
Well, it's true.
There's some fabulous. Well, I don't know. We won't go into fabulous stories about UCI fines.
Casket alert, Peter Cridland.
Yay, Cridland on our screens at the moment, watching the moves here at the front of the Category 6 race. They're on the second part of the climb, and the steepest section is the final section of this first climb today. But Cridland, Matt has casket envy. A casket collector, are you, Matt?
Yes.
There you go.
In a word.
There you go. Short and sweet, that's how we like it. And this pack pushing on here, Cadabona, Putzel, Terron, Russian Raj Terron coming up into the mix, and that's good to see him. Junior Silva in here too, Simon Putzel as well, David Milano right at the front, and so is the polka dot skin suit of Julio Orrego.
So do get in touch with us. Great to see Greg is back on the chat. Orrego's big white wall of the pen cave could do with a jump poster of Emma and Matt. Couldn't inflict that on anybody, Greg. That has to be said. It's a good job you don't see the cameras all the way through the show, because we do pull some faces. It has to be said. A gurning competition in the UK. Well, me personally, anyway. Don't know about Emma. No gurning for Maxime Fabre, putting down the power on the climb here. Simon Purcell moving up onto the shoulder of Orrego. Junior Silva, though, leading out on this climb. Really interestingly pushing the power down and stretching this out. And what for me makes this interesting is look at the damage at the back here. At the front, yeah, you've one or two riders in close attention. You've got a big group behind. But look further back. There are ones, there's two, there's three. It's a long train now. You can see that top right-hand side of your screen. We're in with Junior Silva. Don't look at the camera, buddy. Keep on pushing on that climb. He's heading up towards the summit in second place. Time to look at the camera and then look back down again, chasing the mountain leader, Orrego, looking to extend his lead on the top here. Cadabona holding position. He's fourth place at the moment on the road. Fifth place now. He's in second place in the competition. He needs to move up. Toro in third in the competition overall, also inside that top five. Orrego's going to extend his lead, but who can do the business behind?
Well, Orrego is extending his lead. And my question to Julio Orrego is, do you need a 13-second gap, a 14-second gap, a 15-second gap to points in the competition? Or do you just climb at the pace you're comfortable at?
Yeah, I mean, he's looking pretty comfy here. He's going to go over the top. And we've got to remember that the second climb comes quick. Really quick. You've got this descent down from the Lindenhof climb, that 3.5k as you go over the top. Well, you go through here at 3.5. You don't start descending to about 3.75. But then you go into the Whitacombe climb, and that climb starts kicking in. And it starts kicking in at about the 5.1k marker. So you haven't got far. It's only a k and a bit into the next descent. So why not push on, get the momentum on that downhill, and then drive up? The points on your screen, the checkpoint at checkpoint or number one, that's our climb competition checkpoint. Orrego taking 5 points in first, Cadabona taking 4 points in second. They are also the 1-2 in the overall. Sorrow, the man third in overall, takes the third place there and takes away 3 points. So the leading three stretching their lead at the front, and the gaps between them increasing as well in the overall competition in category 6. They are over the first of our tests of ascending ability as we go down into category 5. Headlines from stage 3 in front of you. Andrew Neville Ross, your stage winner, ahead of Martina Wang, and then Rob Solina immediately behind. Reinheimer taking 17 points in the sprints, and O'Donoghue taking 12 points in the mountains competition. Ross, I was really pleased to see Andrew Neville Ross take that win. He's been such a great competitor for so long on MyWhoosh.
Yes, absolutely brilliant win yesterday in category 5 for Andrew Neville Ross. And interestingly, I'm just trying to take a little look as to where that puts him on GC. He's actually lying in 21st position overall on GC, so not contending at the yellow jersey, but that doesn't stop you taking the stage.
And the time splits there really interesting, because they basically are in seconds up to 17th place to Martin Wang, who we saw on that stage. 18th down are minutes. Now, in the team competition, the gaps out there have stretched out, but the BMC Rule 5 squad are working well. Road racing team in there as well. The big result, BMC rules the top cycling district to 5.1, just dropping down. We've got Level Up, Level Avengers, all these teams, though. I think it is by no means all over, because this is going to be very interesting to see who can make this stick at the end of stage 4. It's day 4, stage 4. team competition wide open, the race wide open, and this is all about getting over those mountains. It's time to go racing here on MyWhoosh. So our riders out and away, making that left-hand turn here. They go out. They're heading for the lake here in Geneva. In Zurich?
In Zurich, not Geneva. Geneva is a different... No, that's a different lake completely.
It isn't it?
You've got a lot of different lakes going on here.
I have a lot of lakes. I've got water on the brain, I think. I think I do need more coffee. I got my fueling strategy with the caffeine right on the way in. One man who's definitely had his fueling strategy absolutely dialed, Matt Smithson, moving up from 10th into 8th place, although Jussi Palaka moved from 11th into 7th. Cirillo moving up to top spot, though. He went from 2nd into 1st. Reinheim also moving up as well. Kendall and Mountier, Friedrich moving up through. Warren dropping down through the standings. But when we talk about this movement within the top 10, you've got to take it with a pinch of salt, really, because 7 seconds separates, not 10, although it is 10 riders separated by 7 seconds in Category 5. It's very, very close at the top. Climbing ability today will be really, really key, particularly for those riders who are inside seconds of the lead. So Martin Wang, the top 17 riders.
Well, the sprint points as well at the moment after 3 stages. Joel Warren absolutely dominant in the early stages. 43 points to Reinheimer's 29. Ola Warren, who has pretty much been leading out Joel Warren, nothing against that in the rules, they're teammates, and with 16 points in 3rd place. It's going to be interesting to see what happens today in this competition, because those 3 climbing checkpoints come after the King of the Mountains today. And top of turn of those King of the Mountains, Ordono is in the lead with 29 points. Tapia has 24, Castro 9. Can Bruno Ordono pick up the points at the top of the first climbing checkpoint? Well, we've only got to get to the 3.5 kilometre marker to find out.
We have indeed. Let's see where this plays out. Who is going to be kicking on? Though we're in with Andrew Neville Ross briefly there, who took that win yesterday in the racing. Going to be interesting to see Neville Ross. I'm sure you won't mind me saying, he's got muscles on his muscles, that man. He's a great sprint. He's got a great sprint on him, but he can climb really well. Usually sprinters who are so powerful, generally not so able to climb. But you know what? Neville Ross never ceases to surprise me by his climbing ability. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes today. He's right in this group. Will he be able to hold with these pure climbers on these steeper slopes that we see coming in? And Zurich, as we make our way up those steep slopes at the top of the first climb, the Lindenhof climb, absolutely critical here. This is going to be very, very interesting tonight as we go into those results and we take a little bit of a check. So here we go. We're in with Andrew Neville Ross. He's on our screens here in person and in avatar form. And interestingly, nicely holding position in with this front group at the moment. But we are now starting to see a kick as the riders get that sense that they're getting nearer to the summit slopes, the top of this Lindenhof climb. And at the moment, Cirillo, whilst he's in the main group, is not right at the front, and he is a danger of those things. He now moves in, just starting to see that yellow jersey being mobbed as they come through. It's Sicilianus who's gone off the front of the group at the moment. So at the moment, the rider going clear. Sicilianus looking to open up those gaps, looking to stretch that out. And you can see at the moment that little bit of a squeeze from him has kept him clear of this main group.
Well, the push is on here on the climb, and while they're on the lower slopes at the moment, it gets really steep towards the top. And when we were in Zurich for the World Championships, you could not move on these pavements, I'll tell you. The riders and the audience and the viewers and the people out on the streets, it was so deep you couldn't actually move on these pavements on this climb. You had to find your spot for the day and not go anywhere.
Well, the spot for the day for Pavel Sicilians is in his pain cave. You can see the fan is blowing as well. Currently sitting in 49th place for the Cycling District 5 squad. Currently 27 minutes down, so may well be allowed a little bit of room for manoeuvre.
That was a bit of a look across to the camera that went, this is hard.
Yeah. It is. It's horribly high. It's a dirty, great steep climb, and it's a climb segment.
It's not dirty.
Everybody wants.
It's not dirty.
dirty.
Zurich is one of the cleanest places in the world.
What you mean as well as being one of the happiest?
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
And great tarmac or asphalt or blacktop, depending on what you want to call it, as we discovered in the women's race. The climb starting to kick off, I think, as the riders behind the pack just bobbing as they make this way up this climb. Reinheimer's right in the mix. Warren is in there as well. O'Donnell, the climb leader, is in the mix. So, and I would expect to see him really pushing here, because no matter what kind of climbing day you're on, if you are leading in that jersey, you want to score points on that first run through. O'Donnell in the overall 29 points, Tapia 24, Castro 10, Hagland 8, and Polacca in 4. If this was a question, we would say at the moment it's a two-horse race.
Well, it's not a question. It is human powered, and Mohamed Mukhtari on our screen at the moment, powering his way up the climb. Tightly in the pack here. Mukhtari around with Kendall and Lenador. He's been riding really strongly so far, and it's about to get very, very steep under the wheels. You can see the top of the climb, but it is going to feel like a long way to go. 15% at the moment, and climbing.
So here we go, leader in the climbs competition, putting up the gap on the rest of this race. Feels starting to see a little bit of a kick behind. We're in with Jussi Polacca. You can see out of the saddle here, really stamping down on those pedals. The revs are picking up as the speed picks up over the top of this climb. It's going to be a big bunch that come chasing through behind the polka dot jersey as they go up and over the top there. The leader in the climb competition taking maximum points going through in that lead as they went over the top behind Tapia, Printer, Kendall and Roy.
Bruno O'Donnell is 5 seconds clear at the front of that pack, and you can just see the polka dot skin suit now. I think he's sitting up and coming back in on this descent, but now you can also see on the top right-hand corner breaks starting to form in the group as the pace picks up on the descent.
So as you go over the summit, the riders still climbing, currently going to be going at sort of 20k an hour max. On that descent, 50k an hour plus, and it very quickly picks up speed going over the top of the summit, and that's where the gaps go, and that's why it's so important to stay right in the leading group. Do not let those gaps go. Do not let the air get in there, or you're going to be in trouble. Well, let's hope there's no trouble today for Category 4. There certainly wasn't yesterday for Jan and Yannicki, who took the race win 1 hour 19 minutes 56.869 seconds on stage 3, under a second separating him between him and a whole host of riders. The nearest rider actually 9 hundredths of a second behind, 0.090, and that was to Arroyev, and it was only half a second to Gomez. It shows you just how strong the group racing is in Category 4. Nicholas Spratt taking the points overall, not able to complete that with a sprint win at the end of stage 3, with Juan Restrepo, the rider scoring the most points across the 3 climbs of stage 3 yesterday: the Alphacar Hills, the Vessel Rock climb, and the Face Rock climb. That was a real battle for position, and very close indeed in that climbs competition. In terms of the team racing, well, BMC Racing, top of the tables, just under 13 hours of racing, 12 hours, 59 minutes, 13.795 seconds to be precise. Get it to the thousands. BMC Racing, along with all the rest of the teams in the same order they were yesterday. So they're in the order that you see it on your screen. The time gaps have opened up. The big gaps are between 6th and 7th place, between Cycling District of 4.1 and the Anzacs. And also then a big gap between the Ducks and the Black Horses, the BMC Ducks and the Black Horses. but still lots of battles between those teams close together.
Yeah, BMC Racing in 1, 3 seconds ahead of Peak Power Racing, and BMC Racing 10 seconds ahead of third place, Cycling District 4. The Inaki not that far behind, just 51 seconds back off of BMC Racing. So the top 4 teams in this category within 51 seconds of each other at the moment. Well, I was going to say no spoilers on the women's race. There weren't categories, but we didn't see categories in the women's race come in with bunch sprints today in Zurich. Will category 4 in the men be the same? Well, they're dialing it out the start pen at the moment. Mashando. Do you know what Mashando likes? A fast start. He did this yesterday.
He does, and I think partly that is just, it's about kicking on, making sure you don't get caught out. You don't want to go off the back of the group early on. Let's take a little bit of a deeper look in those overall standings as to what happened. Esbrahi Ibrahim holding on to top spot, doing an amazing job for that Cycling District of 4 team. His gap, 0.916 of a second back to Gomez, who moved up from 4th to 2nd, courtesy of that sprint. Pino moving up from 5th to 3rd. Lynn just dropping down from 3rd to 4th place. Great ride by Yannicki, puts him up inside the top 5 from being outside the top 10 before we came in. Spratt moving up, so was Quiros. Giuliano just dropping a little bit. Bush are doing the same. But it has to be said, this is all fractions of a second. Not a lot in it, which will change today. Sprint points, Nicholas Spratt, we've got right up there. Yeah, very dominant, Emma, and he can get over these hills as well.
He can, and expect Spratt to, I think it's really interesting. He's been dominant in the sprint competition early on, but he can climb and he can get over the hills. So 39 points to Spratt at the moment, to Villada's 23. Ibrahim 15 points in that sprint competition. In the King of the Mountains competition, El Halami 33 points right up there. 14 points for Giuliano and Spratt, 13 points for Restrepo. So second, third, fourth, very close together. But El Alami really dominant yesterday in that King of the Mountains.
Which is really interesting because he was dominant in the King of the Mountains, but he actually dropped outside of the top 10. After being right up in contention. And that was the really big movement. Mohamed El Alami, I'm sure, will be looking to regroup, and he won't be worried by dropping outside of the top 10. He went from 6th to outside the top 10. But do you know what? It doesn't matter because it's still only seconds. It's not huge.
Interesting screen up in the pain cave, keeping the fresh air coming in, but keeping the sunshine out as much as possible, and hence the heat.
And that is really, really key, isn't it? Our riders are making sure they get that environmental conditions right, making sure that you get the temperature, that you get the airflow that you want, that you get the humidity level that you want, making sure that it's all correct. If you go too cold in your paint can, there's less oxygen in there, so a warmer temperature, you get you get more moisture in there. The oxygen levels tend to drop when you go cold. There's less humidity in the air. It's very different, and you can change those parameters. You can change. Really important to get right. The radiated sun, though, is going to make a massive difference. You're just going to cook if you are out in the sun, and I think that is one of the key things, particularly on a race of this magnitude. It's a gargantuan stage here today, 80.8k distance. It is 1,398 meters of climbing. It's 3 laps of what a curmudgeon spectator might cause absolute purgatory.
Well, it's not purgatory for Spratt and Manchando because they are right towards the front here, just covering the moves at the 2.6 kilometre marker. They're on the climb, but they're on the low. I'm going to call these the lower slopes, really, because they are nowhere near as steep.
Well, a suggestion from Greg to get
come on, look at that.
To get some ferns in there. João Machado, you take
the biscuit, the cap of the day.
Well, yeah, he takes the absolute top prize. Sir, you are a legend, as always. So, João Machado, that is one way to modulate the heat in your pain cave.
Keep warm with your bunny ears.
Anybody, please Please, 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 silly hat of the day.
Oh,
No
he
mind
wins the
casket of the
competition.
day. No mind
Bunny is.
casket of the day. Silly hat of the day. Come on, let's keep everybody entertained with the silly hat of the day. Never mind doing the.
No. We're here
resist.
for a stage race.
That doesn't matter. You know what? You've got to keep smiling. A happy rider is
He's
a
a fast rider.
and we saw that yesterday. You know, Johan was smiling yesterday. He was quick yesterday. He had some great moves. He rode off the front whilst he was on camera, smiling that much.
I know, but you know, it is true. If you are happy with what you're doing, you do it well. And well, wearing rabbit ears as well. Love it.
I've never worn rabbit ears in the studio, but I have had antlers on at Christmas.
Well, that's, you know, a fest.
Camera, does it exist? The shots of me out there with some really random headwear.
At the moment, Mohamed El Alami is up and out the saddle because the climb is absolutely giving it large now. Whilst Matt doffs his cap to El Alami, the gradient is now starting to go up. Was the resistance getting strong underneath those pedals? But El Alami dealing with it beautifully. Mohamed El Alami in the polka dot skin suit, coming up onto the shoulders of Nicholas Spratt in the green skin suit. This is a push. This is a drive for the first set of points for the day at the first checkpoint at the 3.5 kilometre marker. The polka dot banner is coming. It is up there somewhere. And El Alami continues to move to the top, being matched by Nicholas Spratt. He's sitting on his wheel. Now he backs off slightly, but El Alami will go under and pick up the points at the first ascent of the Lindenhof climb today. 2 more Lindenhof climbs to go. Well, some rest and respite now, but look at the tail on that Category 4 pack behind him. What a start to the race here in Zurich for Mohamed El Alami.
Well, he's extended his lead, and he's the 3rd polka dot skin suit wearer in a row, because Category 6, 5, and now 4 have had their climb leaders go over the top of the first climb in first position, taking maximum points. El Alami from Spratt, the 1-2 on that climb, matching the 1-2 overall. Interesting moves behind. So Redley being the last of the riders to score points there. In terms of the overalls, El Alami now has 38 points to Spratt's 18. Spratt still clear as Giuliano, who didn't score any points. Neither did Restrepo. Now Giuliano at 14 points, Restrepo on 13 points. So Bradley up into 5th place, 12 points for him. We're going to see how that progresses all the way through and around this course. At the moment, Spratt, the sprint leader in there, he's going to be focused very much, I think, on making sure he has something left to kick when we get down back into Zurich. We drop off the main plateau and down over the bump and back into town. But that is going to be in a little while's time, because lining up ready to go next are Category 3. They're our next set of riders to go, and they're going to be the road of Zurich very, very shortly indeed. Let's take a look, though, headlines from a fantastic race with Gonda take a race win. The race win from Amaro along with Almeida. Then it was Pavel Gonda, followed by in terms of the sprint, and then Christopher Morgan taking the QOM or KOM in the case of the men, and that is a KOM. Gonda, Amaro and Almeida. This was a really interesting race result yesterday, Emma, on stage 3 here with those 3 riders. And Gonda, that was all about what he did in the race that gave him that win.
Yeah, it was indeed. And, you know, it was an interesting move. Rafael Amaro coming through just fractions of a second further back, and then a gap to Almeida. And it's interesting to see what happens overall in Category 3. And we'll look at those overalls in a minute. But you know, it's been really, really good.
Well, that time gap that the top 3 got, Gonda, Amaro and Almeida, it was 8.5 seconds from anybody else on that race finish yesterday. And because Gonda's an individual rider, it didn't affect his position. But in terms of Guardians of the Galaxy, it certainly did, because Guardians of the Galaxy, Guardians of the Peloton. You can tell I was wanting to watch some film for downtime. Guardians of the Peloton. Guardians of the Galaxy is a great film. Guardians of the Peloton. It really worked for them. Amaro's move there by getting into that break really made a difference. Take this leading from Guardians of the Peloton. They moved from 4th up into 2nd, overtaking up WhatsApp, and Gold Grabbers dropped down from 2nd to 4th place.
Yeah, but the time gap still almost nothing at the moment. Just 7 seconds separating the top 4 teams.
In fact, it's 32 seconds between the top 6, isn't it? And that means that those top 6 teams really in play here in Category 3 as they go away from the start. And it shows you, I mean, the gap between Guardians of the Peloton and Take This, 0.174 of a second. You know, that's a blink of an eye pretty much. A slow blink, but it's still a blink of an eye.
It is. And, well, will we be blinking at the finish today?
Blinking painful up the climbs.
Will it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that, but maybe it will. But the overall standings, Nick Squilari tops the table, Almeida in 2, Guarin in 3.
Top 3 riders remaining the same. Story remains the same. Great album. As the riders go out from here, because Squilari from Almeida from Guarin was the same top 3 as we'd had the previous day. Behind Montoya moving up from 7th to 4th, and Elos from 9th to 5th because of that result in the race, in that run for the line. All of the top 10 changing positions pretty much with the exception of the top 3. And Henrik Oyer, who without any, I'm not quite sure how he managed to do it, but he didn't actually go anywhere in terms of position, despite everybody around him moving.
Smart.
Very smart indeed. Sprints.
It's close at the top,
wow.
I think, is the message. So Gonda's race yesterday. Brilliant racing from him. Points him joint first with Christopher Morgan, with both of them having 36 points. At the top of the table in the sprint competition, Nicolas Fournier just 3 points back in 33. This is really close between these 3 riders, and it's going to be really interesting to see what happens today. In the King of the Mountains competition, well, it's not quite as close. Kowalski with 22 points, Morgan with 18, Oyer with 15. Christopher Morgan is being very consistent at the moment.
He's consistently good.
Yes.
Consistently good. Really, really impressive, Morgan's riding to get those points and to keep himself in touch. 21st in the overall standings is Morgan for the Level Golden squad. He's 10 seconds back. You did say it was a day of tens.
I did.
21st is Christopher Morgan overall at 10 seconds. For me, the top 27 riders here are not out of this, you know, realistically, because Henry is currently 27th position, 37 seconds down. Behind him, then, it's a 1 minute 37 on the race leader for Niall Bassey, but he can climb. So maybe make that 28, 2 minutes 19 to Tidholm in 29th position. And it may well be the case that that's the time to start pivoting, as we've talked about previously on the show, and looking at the rest of the competitions, looking to maybe to go get a stage win or take away some more sprint points or similar, or the something maybe that's not on the overall. One rider going really well, Che Howala, one of our regular competitors here on MyWhoosh, a regular on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club that takes place each and every Sunday of the year, taking place this week as well on Sunday, when a lot of riders are taking a rest day. All of the regulars, well, some of the regulars.
I had a look at the Sunday Race Club start sheets.
Have you?
I have one word for them.
Do that bit of homework.
I've got one word for them.
Go on.
Light.
Compact and bijou, kind of.
That could be a different phrase of using.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm not surprised.
Do you know what it is? It's an opportunity for riders to score big if they are there.
I absolutely agree with you, and it makes for exciting riding because an exciting racing, because we may well see different riders at the top of the tree on Sunday on the Sunday Race Club. But this is the MyWhoosh Championships. This is stage 4, day 4 of 8 days. We've got 7 stages over those 8 days, with Sunday being a rest day for the MyWhoosh Championships. Rafael Amaro in the mix here with Van Vellegem, Holweiler, Yees, Schledek, Pony, all in the mix here. Bakken is here too. Rossoli in the mix as well. And we're going to drop in with Rafael Amaro. He's on your screen at the moment. This pack rolling strongly in category 3. They've got, well, not that far now, 600 metres till they get to the checkered flag. But to be honest, the only way is up.
Well, let's see if Rafael Amaro can climb like he has been so far. Currently tied in 5th place with Pavel Gonda on 9 points. They're just behind Niall Batty, who'll be looking forward to these climbs. He's currently in 4th position with 12. Henrik Oyer sitting in 3rd place at the moment with 15. Christopher Morgan with 18 in 2nd. And Kowalski, David Kowalski, the WhatsApp squad, riding from the United States of America, leading this out 22 points, his total so far. But he has to now try and extend that further. Remember, this climb, all these climbs today are category 4 climbs, so essentially 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 points available for the top 5 riders over the line at the summit of the climb. Then straight down into the descent and on to the second climb. The Lindenhof climb coming first, the Whitcomb climb coming second. We then go across the end, little bit of a rise and drop down into town to the lake shoreline, and then going very quickly into the next lap and back up again. We're in with Nick Scolari. Nick Scolari, he has taken the race lead, and then by riding smart yesterday, defended that race lead. He's got 2 seconds on Almeida, who's in 2nd place, and 3.5 seconds on Guarin. Montoya's at 4.5. So is Elos. Fournier's just inside 5 seconds of the race leader. Scolari today, if you had to, if I was to pose you a question that said, will he be leading at the end of today, yes or no, what would your answer be? Because I think it's one of the hardest categories to call, whether he can retain that jersey, because he's such a good all-round rider.
He is, and that is a really hard question. But do you know what? He could well do, but at the moment, I've not really thought about it. I'm just now thinking and processing while I'm watching David Kowalski on the polka dot skin suit go underneath the polka dot banner at the top of the Lindenhof climb for the first time. Niall Batty in 2. Henrik Oyer is there. The young rider David Badil, who we've seen recently riding really, really strongly. Likewise, not in a team, but he's riding strong. Ridley is there. Diduch is there. Kalman is there, and that's the way the points go.
It is indeed, and the spread of points that you see on your screen has changed the standings a little bit further down. The groups splitting. There's some major riders being distanced behind the front of this race as they go over the top of that first climb. Kowalski's at 5 points going into his total. He leads with 27 points. He's extended his lead on Morgan, who didn't score any points. It's Oyer in 3. Batty, though, 4th place, and 5th place, David Badil, who has now got 11 points. So he's gone over Amaro there and Gonda and moved himself up. Amaro, Gonda, and Fournier not scoring on the climb there. So that really interesting, the way that this is changing. We're going into the mountains. We're seeing that's our fourth climbs competition leader leading over the top of climb number 1 here. But remember, 6 climbs today. It's not necessarily going to be won.
But can I just tell you, what's really interesting is that the category 4 pack went over that point in the race at 3.2k, 13 seconds faster.
Wow.
Than category 3.
Category 3.
More steady start.
Yeah. Well, no steady start for Maciej Mindekowicz. This was one of the stories of the day yesterday for me, if not the story of the day. Now, Maciej Mindekowicz going away in the breakaway with Martin Trojanowski. They went clear, and they were absolutely battling to get to that finish to take away the win. Maciej Mindekowicz managed to go clear of Trojanowski to take the win. And in doing so, he also then took the yellow jersey from Matthias Van Heij. Van Heij, who had been leading and wearing that jersey. He'd won that on the stage 1. He defended it on stage 2 and done so in style. Stage 3, unable to do so, it dropped Van Heij down into 2nd overall. Good riding by Lucas Hoffman to win the sprint from the rest of the bunch who were closing closely behind. Your day's sprint and mountains leaders shown on the screen there. In terms of the team competition, the GOAT still leading at the top of the team standings. The Hitmen, though, moving up from 5th place into 2nd.
Wow.
Big jump from them. ABC Sports dropping down into 3rd, dropping down to 4th with the Watt Bombs, down to 5th with the Smarties. The UAE Clan team moving up from 7th to 6th, exchanging places with the Fast Guys, who moved down from 6th into 7th place. Cycling District make up again the riders of the Raiders of the Storm, the Elite Racing Squad DMH, and the Emirati Gen Z squad, all remaining in the same position. Very close between UAE Clan team and the Fast Guys. They are both 20 seconds, 20.360 for the UAE Clan team, 20.735 seconds back for Fast Guys at the top.
20 seconds covering the top 7 teams.
It's 20 seconds covering the top 7 teams. There's 10 seconds covering the top 5 teams. Realistically, for me, though, the top 10 teams are all within 2.5 minutes. And on a team time with the big mountains in front, they're all going to be there. I think DMH are battling against the UAE Team Emirates Gen Z squad there. That's quite a nice close battle between those two, a little bit further down that team standings. But the GOATs living up to the name.
Wow. Peter Mlostic, Jonas Bjarhed, Masit Mendakowicz, Bert Kane and Khan Kane. That is a team to watch. Well, in the overall standings on Cat 2, Matt said that Masit Mendakowicz's win yesterday took him into the yellow jersey, and so it does, ahead of Matthias Vanhe. But just 1 minute separates the first 34 riders in this category.
So 1 minute separating the first 34, 7.5 seconds separating the top 10 riders that you see on your screen. Mendakowicz moving from 4th to 1st, deposing down and dropping down by 1 place, Vanhe, Kalman and Guerra. Kane, Tatu Koisted and even Bennett staying in the same positions. Big scorers on the day, though. Hoffman as well, with Becker and Morel and Fawcett all moving up. Fawcett just outside the top 10, but he is quite literally 0.2 of a second behind Ika Morel. That is super, super close in the individual standing. The riders who dropped out of the top 10, Goddarzi and Bjarhed, not really moved very far indeed. In terms of the sprint, no, Olivier Simmons, 2 points clear of Maciej Skiski, and the ever-aggressive Mr. X100, who has animated so much of the racing, currently in 3rd place with 17 points in that sprint competition. Simmons and Skiski, a fantastic battle between them. And Mr. X100 got so many of these sprints the other side of the climbs, and boy, does he love a good climb. He could well be up there to challenge, and it should climbing prize because he's 2nd in the climbs competition.
Adrian Alvarado with 31 points, though, is really strong in this competition. He's positioned himself well every single stage. Mr. X100 in 17 points in 2nd, and Khan Kane with 14 in 3rd. Khan Kane, for me, is looking really good. Real good all-rounder as well. He's one to watch. Manshando is in the mix. Fawcett is in the mix. Tagasugi is in the mix. Category 2. I mean, this is one of the races where I actually think it's really hard to call.
I think it's hard to call any of the competitions. I don't think any of the competitions are by any means over. And that is true. I mean, we have seen riders having to finish their race, whether that is because they're doing adult stuff, looking after the family. And got to say that Marius Fossiad, who has done that, he hasn't left us completely. He's at home with the kids that he's looking after, which is why he stopped racing for the week. So good to have him with us. Maciej Mendakowicz, what a day for him yesterday. We saw him go on the attack, and you could see that he knew that there was a yellow jersey at stake. He's got the yellow skin suit in his avatar. He's in the pain cave here today. Giving us a wave. Good to see Maciej with us. Congratulations on what was probably the move of the day in the men's ranking. That, I mean, astounding move. The question is today, can he defend that? Because we know he climbs well.
Yeah, he does, and I think he'll do absolutely everything he can to defend that jersey. And why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
If you've won it in the way that he did yesterday, you'd want to keep hold of it tight. Well, the rider who went down the road yesterday that Mendakowicz chased was Trojnowski. He was the rider. He was the brave rider. He was the first rider away from the group, and he really, really went. Mendakowicz may well have caught him and gone over the top, but this was the guy who made the move. Machando is making the move at the moment on the front of the group. Big push coming on. This is early in the climb as well. Steep section, not quite there yet, but just watching pack behind, watching and waiting.
And it's not split. It's really, really close together. There's no big gaps. It's now just starting to elongate under the pressure of Machado up on the front. Out of the saddle here, mentioned Machado before, and it has started to do damage. We've now got one rider at least being distal back. In fact, one rider's gone. Now two riders are going, and we've just seen another rider in danger at the back. So let's see how these riders go up towards the top of the climb.
So the push is on the front here in category 2 as they head towards the steep sections of the slopes here in Zurich. They're heading towards the top banner of the Lindenhof climb for the first time. We're in with Mohamed MyWhoosh. The rider we were watching yesterday in the young rider's jersey at the moment. He's the rider in white on your screen. There he is, the number 2 on his back. The help back in the pain cave, keeping him fresh, keeping him cool, helping him out in there, handing over the water. He's watching the moves at the moment in the pack, but it's a big pack of category 2 riders all climbing together at the moment. I can see the polka dot skin suit just stretching off the front of the group, driving towards that banner.
So this run for the banner, really, really key. They're trying to push. Alvarado is our polka dot jersey wearer. And again, we're seeing the move by the climbs leader, pushing up over the top and taking those points as he goes in over. Interesting, Lipinski goes with him, I think, there, and going over the top line. Are we going to see an attack over the top? This group was all together not seconds ago. And that move, that push as they went up that climb, boom, it absolutely pulled it apart.
Well, it was Alvarado collecting 5 points in that climbing competition. Kaplinski takes 4, SS takes 3. Okay, takes 2, and Maciej Mendakowicz defending that yellow jersey picks up 1 point and covers the moves on the front. There he is, settled into the draft right now. Alexei Kalman is with him. Carlos Ospina is there. Quintero is there. Fawcett is there. Ivan Nuki is there. X100. These are all the riders I would expect to see coming to the fore of the group on the climbing stages. Though for me today, well, the climbs are not long. The longest climb today is 2.5 kilometers. It's going to be a little bit different tomorrow. This for me is the warm-up.
Yes and no. I'm not sure I entirely agree with you. No surprises there. Because you could almost say, yes, they are 2 climb segments, but this is one climb. It's one big climb. If you think that we climb from the start of the Lindenhof climb at 1.7k, you've got a short downhill section, but then we're climbing to 7.6k in segments and to what is nearly 10k overall. I would class this as a big one long climb. I'm sure Kankena agrees with me.
I'm putting words into his mouth there. Small climbs, recovery in between key, but you're not getting a lot of recovery on this course, I tell you. And the category 2 riders well and truly out onto the course now. The category 1 riders down in the pen, and we're in with Ricardo Panizza, who for me has been one of the surprise riders.
No surprises to see Ollie Jones take away yet another win in that sprint. I mean, he is proving to be a sprint supremo, and maybe it has blunted his climbing power. We will have to find out. Emma doesn't think that's the case. Great riding Michael Power to take second place in that final run to the line. 0.423 seconds down and 0.439. So only 0.02 of a second behind the Iceman, Stefan van Elst. Michael Vink sprinting, picking up points on the way through, and saw a very interesting article yesterday suggesting that the tactics of doing so was genius rather than foolish. We will remain to be seen whether that is going to be the case here today. So, teams, Alpha Jaw ahead of Abus Synergy, still holding position. In fact, all the team positions have stayed the same.
It's 1 second between the top two teams.
There's 5.9 seconds between the top four. There are 16 seconds between the top five. It's only when you go to the fight between the natural born gorillas and Les Domestiques that they have their own personal battle. It is going to be really interesting to see how that plays out at the front. Today, 16 seconds between those teams. No way on this planet is it going to stay at those time gaps. We're going to be talking about big time gaps surely by the end of this. Our last set of race riders away. This is going to be brutal. This is going to be a fast run, I suspect, up the very first climb of the day. Are we going to see our climb leader repeat what we've seen in every other race category in the men's race so far and go over first? And will that then mean that we're going to see potentially an attack over the top, let's get the grammar right, an attack over the top by Jason Osborne, our climb's leader? Or will we see Michael Vink now switch from being a sprint point collector to being a GC contender?
Well, I think the GC contenders will be picking up some sprint points along the way, but at the moment in the overall standings, it is indeed Ollie Jones from Michael Vink and Bjorn Andreasen.
Indeed, those were your top three on the overall standings. Vink moving up as well as Andreasen, Van Elst, Churek and Vujasin. Jason Osborne just dropping down a fraction. But to be honest, it's irrelevant.
Yes, 9 seconds, the top 16.
Here. It shows you that they're in the right place, and they are in the top 19 riders, and that is a really key sort of number here. It might be a day for a day where number 10 is a key number, but in fairness, the riders at the front of this race are really key. Now, it's all about the gaps. 9 seconds separates Michael Knudsen in 16th position for top spot. They're all in it. In the sprints competition, Paradine showing he's such a great sprinter. Michael Vink collecting sprint points as well as Paul Skierski. Skierski, lots of power, short climbs. 2 climbs if you believe Emma, 1 if you believe me. It's going to be interesting to see how he goes on here, Emma. But the sprint's on the far side, so surely that plays to Michael Vink. They're on the far side.
Well, you say that. I think Paul Skierski could go really well today. I don't think these are the type of climbs that could put him off. He's a punchy rider. He might not settle in and do the 6, 7, 8K climbs, but he really does score well when they are short, steep and punchy. And that is really what we're seeing today. You know, the sprint competition, it was indeed Paradines with 42 points from Vink in 32 and Skierski in 28. In the King of the Mountains, Jason Osborne's wearing that polka dot skin suit with 35 points. Ricardo Panizza, and this is why I said at the start of the Category 1 race when they were in the pen, that for me, he's been a surprise rider because he's behind with 25 points in that King of the Mountains competition. And he has been concerted, the Venga Boys rider, putting his nose out in the wind in the right places in those climbs to pick up those points. Leonard Tugel's Abus Synergy in 3 at 13 points in that competition.
Some great racing to come, some great racing so far. Who will take away the top scores today? We're on to the climb, this early kick already. Category 1 absolutely flying around here. I think they're going to beat the tram onto the straight. They're moving at such a pace up here. Osborne at the front of the chasing pack. 3 riders up the road in front. But will Nico, Milostic and Drzynski be able to stay clear? I think this is a big move at the front, really putting the power down early here. Drzynski up in that group, but surely Osborne think Betty, Don, they're going to be up there. Don's an interesting call for today. A rider who's been relatively quiet so far this race, but he can sprint, he can climb. Today could be a Ruben Don's kind of stage.
Do you think?
Yeah, well,
Ooh.
it depends. If the GC contenders, the real big GC contenders that we've got in our heads, and everyone is expecting, don't come out to play, and they just treat it as another stage, I think then potentially, yeah, Don has got a chance. But what the odds of that? I don't know. It's very hard to tell. Sorry, I'm just diving in with category 2 there. SS, he's on the go again. He's away.
They've just gone under the second climb of the day, and it's a really good point to attack. Personally, the second climb is the one where you can really put some power down and move on, and likely to extend a gap. And that's what SS has done. And the gap has gone out quite significantly. It's around 40 seconds at the moment. X100 picking up the points in 2. Alvarado, Ken, and Fawcett picking up the minor points over that second climb of the day. The group is behind, and the group is large in category 2, but SS 40 seconds now on a group behind that's got, well, I'm looking at 38 riders in it.
And as you can see, category 1 chasing category 2, 3, 4, and 5 as well. 6. This is a laps course where each of those laps are contributing 3 laps today to make up the difference. And it does mean that category 1 are going to be going round some riders who are already out onto their second lap.
They are indeed, but Jason Osborne at the moment in that polka dot skin suit pushing up the climb, and I'm giggling because I can see Ollie Jones in close contention. Ollie Jones not letting Jason Osborne go too far, paying close attention. Osborne pushing on though on this climb. This group needs to move a little. On may well sit up at the top. He might not. He might push into the second climb of the day, and then they might not see him again. I personally think a 77-kilometre individual time trial from Jason Osborne might even be a little bit too long for him.
Yes, maybe too long even for Jason Osborne. And I don't think Ollie Jones is going to let him get away with that. At this stage, he's right up in the mix. You can see that chasing group all the way in and across the road, picking up the points behind Osborne. But every one of our climb leaders coming into stage number 4 have gone over that first checkpoint first. A real note for the date in the diary and for our notes here in the commentary studios. Osborne taking 5 points. Wu, who we know has got a phenomenal climber when it gets steep, takes 4. Jones, the yellow jersey, takes 3. Pedersen takes 2. Skierski takes 1. Really interesting that every single mountain leader goes over first. In category 1, as they went over the top there, Osborne extending his lead from Panizza, from Tugels, from Jones and Wu. They are your top 5 riders in the overall climbing competition across all 4 of our stages in category 1. We're in with category 2.
We are indeed, and SS still clear. The gap at around 38 seconds. Peter Milostic on the front of the pack with Matthias Vanhee and Olivier Simmons. That tells me that they want to bring him back into the fold. They've gone down from the climb, and they're transitioning across the top, and you can see how rolling this is from that terrain. That red line on the top right hand corner really tells you how rolling the top of this climb is. Well, SS coming towards the 10-kilometre marker, Milostic and Vanhee on the front of the group behind, but the group don't seem to be helping much, and if anybody wants to bring SS back in, they're going to need to help Milostic, because the UAE Clan team are not going to do any of the driving.
No, why would they? Why would they put the pressure on to try and bring back SS? SS, a super dangerous rider to let go, and not surprised to see riders starting to move up there like Simmons, who I think will have an eye on today's stage. Trzezinowski, Maciej Mandakowicz in here, Damsgaard in here, Hoffman in here, Ritter, still most of those big favourites. Kane still in this group as well. Gombert in here, a rider I think is going to go maybe a little better today on the terrain that we've got in front of them. The riders who've been right up there overall so far, they've got to defend on very different terrain. It's very different defending your lead here today on on a mountainous stage, and riders inside that top 10, riders like Nathan Guerra, I think, the pressure to some degree is on to defend that. You've put yourself in a position where you're in the running. Now you've got to be able to, show that you can stay there when it goes very, very hilly.
Yeah, I get that completely, but this is dangerous. SS could stay out all race. He's perfectly capable of doing so. But this group have decided that it doesn't seem to be worth the effort to bring him back. Look at that, it's nearly at a minute now.
I know. How much room can you give SS? SS, a rider who very, very much dangerous to let go clear. Just taking a quick check through the overall standings here as we speak for SS in the overall competition. He's only 28 seconds down. I mean, he's the virtual leader on the road.
Yes.
In a virtual world.
Yes.
Lots of yeses from her. Just a quick chat, a quick shout out to those riders that we regularly see racing on the live chat here on YouTube, and you can get in touch with us on there as well. PFL. A regular rider, just in there, just having a chat and talking about the heat wave in France. It is indeed scorchingly hot. The air conditioning here in the studios at Full Speed Events in France really going into overdrive over the last few weeks. So a big shout out to Pierre, and I hope that you are trying to stay cool. With all the action that's going on, as well as the heat wave.
Well, talking about staying cool, Spratt and Ramirez are pushing on here. They're pushing on because they're coming to the first of the sprint checkpoints, and Nicholas Spratt wanting to pick that up from Category 4. So Category 5 and Category 6 have gone through the Zurich sprint already. Spratt putting in a massive effort. I've just seen 12 watts per kilo come out of Nicholas Spratt, driving towards that point in the race. He does indeed pick up the 5 points from Ramirez and Moreno. Cy Bradley picking up 2 points there as well. Interesting move. But the group at the end, well, coming towards the end of lap 1 in Category 4, 23 riders.
Ooh, it's still big.
It is.
How is it so big?
Because they're all so well matched.
Well, gotta say, today, one rider who should be going well, because you go well around the time of your birthday. It's not just around the time of his birthday. Sebastian Havo. Bon anniversaire, Sebastian. It is your birthday. I'm not going to sing happy birthday to you in any kind of voice. Never mind a Marilyn Monroe one. Can be done on the mic. Can happen. Emma's shaking her head in the other side of the studio. Don't do it. But happy birthday to Sebastian Havo. It's a hot one in France. I hope you are today going to have a hot race where you score your roads. So congratulations. Big happy birthdays to Sebastian Havo.
Well, as you say, you go well around your birthday. So looking forward to a strong race today. And the Category 2 pack pushing on here at the 4-kilometre marker. They're up onto the rolling plateau. Well, Category 1 aren't onto the rolling plateau yet because they're not through at the second climbing checkpoint yet. That comes at the 7.6 kilometre marker. And at the moment, Jason Osborne back in the fold. Look at the distance. Look at the gaps already starting to form.
That somebody decided today, do you know what? Let's really make this hard. If you were in one of those groups at the back there, Emma, we would be going, oh, no, you're kidding. This is only lap number 1. We're on the second climb of 6, and it's already exploding. But that's what happened. Somebody pulled the pin, rolled the grenade, boom.
Yeah,
and
they put Michael Vink on the front. Michael Vink, Jason Osborne's teammate, coming up onto the front now. And I think this is a big push on the front, and Osborne will go over the top to defend that polka dot skin suit. Wu is there as well as Wu. Yasin, Kaminsky, Van Elst, Safrazadi is there too. Chugels is in the mix as well. Really good to see the construction of this leading group. And if you look on the top right-hand corner of your screen, you can see multiple groups down the road. But at the moment, that's not bothering Osborne and Vink as they go underneath the polka dot banner 1-2.
They certainly do, and look who's not far behind. Michael Knudsen is not far behind. Neither is Saeed Safrazadi. I'll tell you something, I think this is going to be very, very interesting when we move on, because we have got Knudsen, Safrazadi, Osborne and Vic in this leading group from the Boss Moves Only squad. They're the fourth team on the road. They're only 5.9 seconds back at the start of today, and they have put riders in force in there. 3 of the riders of the top 5 scoring points for the Boss Moves Only squad.
I'm going to give you the riders in the group because we've got 14 riders pretty much in contention at the moment, and then a small gap back to a further group. So Osborne, Vink, Tugels, Woo, Knudsen, Jones, Van Elst, Kaminsky, Vujasin, Turek, Safrazadi, Paradine, Skierski, and Pucker. Those are the riders who are in contention at the front of this race, but the push is already on. Panizza, Andreasen, Milostic, and Power with Pedersen are the group behind. A further 10 seconds back, Noren, Kroll, Harris, and then Thrall and Betty.
Wow, not expecting to see Harris go out of the back at this stage in the racing today. Not expecting to see these groups split apart. You can see at the moment, Turek, Van Elst and Safrazadi having to chase. This is a big push. Paradines is there as well. They're ahead of Pucker. Pucker is in that third group on the road. This is all about nailing it and getting back in touch with the leading group at the moment, because that lead group are in front of Daniel Turek, in front of Saeed Safradadi, in front of Paradines as well. Tugel's got to get up there. Woo is up in that front group. He's made the junction, but the pressure is on at the front of the race. In Category 1, this could be decisive. It's certainly going to separate a large number of riders off the back. How many groups will go into the descent down in towards Zurich together? It looks like Group 1 and Group 2 potentially are going to come back together. You've got to hold the wheels in Group 2, though, because you can't afford to let it go. If Group 2 join Group 1 and you're not in the group, you're off the back, you're not going to get in. You've got to stay in the draft. Big push coming here. You can see Paradis moving on to the front. Van Elst is there. They'll get a little bit of draft advantage to come flying past our Category 2 rider. The very front of the group, Vink and Osborne are aware of this, and they are making life hard. They've got Knudsen in that group as well. That is, and it's 3 of the Boss Moves Only squad, at least in that leading group. This is really about this team race and the individual at the moment. Vink and Osborne, they've seen the Group 2 coming and they've gone, oh, no, you don't. You think you're getting back on. We are going to make you really suffer. And the gap has gone back out again. They were almost in touching difference.
Do you know, and it's interesting, isn't it, at the moment, because it's like Vink, Osborne and Knudsen in the leading group, leaving Safrazadi, their teammate in the chase group behind, to mark the moves and try and shut it down, try and allow the gap to go. And Safrazadi playing a crucial team role here for the Boss Moves Only squad. His role is to sit in. His role is to slow it down. His role is to allow that gap to go, because he's got 3 teammates in that leading group of 5. Well, the Category 1 race is alight already. 10 kilometres into this race in Zurich. Stefan Van Elst is in the chase group, and he now pushes on the front of the pack here. He's trying to close the gap down. He's in a group behind. He's in the chase group behind, but the gap now at 8 seconds, at 9 seconds. At one point, it was at 4 seconds. They've got a lot of work to do if they want to shut this down. But, you know, they have all got to work together, and they've got Safrazadi in there who is going to deliberately try and stop them. Well, the leaders on the road at the moment in the Category 1 race: Jason Osborne, Michael Vink, Yunfei Wu, Ollie Jones and Michael Knudsen. Those are the leaders in that breakaway group of 5 in Category 1. Well, at the moment, there's a breakaway group of 1 in Category 6. And Junior Silver is down the road at the 35.1 kilometre marker. Great move here, out onto lap 2, Category 6. They've just gone up the Wishkon climb for the second time. And Silver picking up the top points, going 5 seconds clear of Cadabona, Diaz, Milano and Milostic.
Oh, loving this. Absolutely loving it. Category 6. You know, Category 5 and 6 are some of the best race categories. They're always great fun to watch. They're always great. Well, I'd say great fun to ride. The riders are always effusive about the racing. Who race in category 5 and 6, and say how much they absolutely love it. And I know that's true of a lot of the riders, whether that's the Sunday Race Club or it's the MyWhoosh Championship. So the categories 4, 5, and 6, such great racing in there, and we're seeing that unfold once again here today. Category 5 here on our screens. I mean, big group.
Yeah.
I'm not sure this group will stay as is.
Well, 14 riders in the
days.
category 6 leading group. At the moment, I think we've got a couple of riders down the road here in category 5, maybe mixed in with the group ahead, but not many of them. This big pack, it's like a big pack of fish hunting down something out in the ocean. But Tapia, Gavaria, Brambati, Neville Ross, Dotto and Garcias, they are all on the move at the 33.6 kilometre marker. This is the leading group in category 5. They're catching up to a group in category 6 and really motoring out here on the course. Interestingly, Matt, the yellow jersey is amongst them.
Well, you've got to be in it to defend it. It's normally you've got to be in it to win it. You've got to be in it to defend it, and you need to be in that leading group. At the moment, though, for me, that says there's still lots of really hard racing to come. There's lots of attacks. There's lots of moves on the front to be made for sure. So yep, yellow jersey in there. Yellow jersey likely to stay in there. And even if our yellow jersey's having a bad day, you know, you would expect in category 5 them to you pull something extra out when you're leader. That's kind of how I view it. Even if you're having a bad day, you see it time and time again. Leaders of big races, of stage races, always pull something special when they've got that jersey on, because there's a great pride in that.
Well, there is indeed. And category 5, now a number of category 6 riders sitting in the group, and they're going to try and hold on and hold in at that 34-kilometre marker. They are coming up towards the top of the Whitcomb climb for the second time. Category 6 have already gone over that point. Well, the leaders in category 6, Daniel Dotto, part and parcel of the leaders group in category 5, as they work towards that checkpoint. Around 400 metres to go. They're going to spot the banner as they come around the corner here in Zurich. Well, is anybody in this category 5 race going to pop their wheel out for the points here? The polka dot skin suit is tightly ensconced in the group. That's Bruno Ordonno. Daniel Dotto on our screen at the moment, part and parcel of this group. Martin Wang, Mukhtari, Castro, Mountier, Gavaria, all in the mix in category 5 as they start the push towards the polka dot banner.
Here we go. Polka dot skin suit wearer starts to wind this up. This is a smooth wind up as well. You can just see the pace increasing. He's gone up. He's now up at 11 watts per kilo. Hits Tapia trying to match him. Little bit of a dip as he goes in there. Continues to kick through. Great riding by O'Donnell. Tapia almost matching him, and that is saying something here in category 5. Such a fantastic leader of the climbs competition here. I really am loving watching O'Donnell in action there. That was such a smooth wind-up, smooth power delivery, really starting to accelerate and then just winding and winding and winding, dropping everybody's wheel. Tapia almost able to match him. He takes 4 points, 3 points for Luzzi. Reinheimer with 2 points. And Andrew Neville Ross, thank you very much for proving that I was right, and you can climb as well as sprint. So those points added to the totals, it means that O'Donnell is still in the lead in category 5 in that climate competition. Tapia in second place, 6 points behind our leader, who has 47 points, 41 for Tapia. Hagland in third with 15 points. Castro with 10. Painter rounding out the top 5 with 7. Lozzie and Reinheimer, who are scoring points there. Lozzie in 6th place with 6 points, and Reinheimer with 5, but don't discount them for scoring more. Now, let's go back to that Category 2 race. SS at the moment with a, wait for this, 44-second gap. It's still holding. It's back to 50. It's round about that minute marker behind Fawcett, Newquay, Morel, Damsgaard, Miller, Goddardzi, Kalman. This is still a good size group. We're in with Ross Fawcett here. And Emma, earlier on in the week, you were saying Ross Fawcett was going to come good in the. I'm sure I remember you saying that he was a rider who was going to come good when the racing went uphill. Well, you've been proved right. I hate saying that, but you have been proved right.
Okay.
No, I don't. I've got to acknowledge the
I'm
fact.
putting a big tick on the whiteboard in the studio. But at the moment, for me, Ross Fawcett, one of those riders who's getting stronger and stronger and stronger and really, really coming into form. I'm really looking forward to watching him race throughout the rest of August. Olivier Simmons pushing on at the moment. So is Godzari on the front at the 22-kilometre marker. SS is still 45 plus seconds down the road here. Ivan Newquay coming to the fore as well. Olivier Simmons, we've got him on our screen at the moment, and you can see him continuing to race and continuing to make his presence felt in this Category 2 race.
Indeed.
They're going to go up and over the top here, then they're going to descend towards the waterfront in Zurich, and then they're going to run along Lake Zurich and on the road towards the finish line through the sprint checkpoint. It's a beautiful part of the world. I've been to Zurich. Anybody who hasn't been to Zurich, I thoroughly recommend it for a long weekend. Make that happen in summer, unless you like snow.
Yes,
and then go in the winter.
Yes, it is in the middle of the Alps, and the stunning views in the sunshine reflecting off the water as well as off the fantastic streets, and plenty of places to refresh as well.
Can I tell you? I mean,
you tell us anything. You're on the mic as well.
I was there in September, and we had some bad weather, but we had some great weather. And on those days where the weather was good, along that waterfront, think restaurants, think bars, think people sitting around, think water sports going on, swimming, beautiful lakeside swimming venue that had a pontoon out, think hot tubs, baths, steam, spas, are all on the lake. Absolutely stunning. And you know what? If you can't make it to Zurich itself, you can come and ride the Zurich course on MyWhoosh. I can tell you that what you are seeing here on your screen is so lifelike. It's pretty much like walking around Zurich, riding around Zurich on MyWhoosh.
Just not necessarily the sunshine, although it is sunny on MyWhoosh at the moment. I have to say, one of the things I really like about MyWhoosh, it doesn't rain. Have you ever ridden in the rain on MyWhoosh?
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
No, you haven't. Do you know what? And I absolutely love that fact, because as somebody who comes from England, where we have as many terms for rain as Eskimos do for snow, I have to say it's great that it is never wet. Now, at one round, who at the moment is in no danger of getting soaking because he's indoor in his pancake, Frank Flores. Thank you, Frank, for letting us have a little insight into your pancake and the effort that it takes here to ride with that Category 4 leading group. He's right in with the leaders here, Flores, and doing a great job. Looking, I thought and this is why the pancake views are so good, looking very comfy. He's only 7 seconds down on the GC, Flores, in 14th place for the Anunnaki squad. That's a great position to be in, 7 seconds down. And because this climb, I think what we're going to see here is we're going to see riders basically drop out of the GC, even if we don't see riders taking a break, putting a breakaway in and actually grabbing the race lead. We're going to see people taken out of contention.
Well, yes, and we're also going to see some very clever and smart riding today. This is stage 4. They've got 7 stages to race. Juan Quiros is on our screen riding at the moment. He's part and parcel of this leading group at the 34-kilometre marker. Smart riding says minimise time differentials today. Tomorrow the men head to Japan, and it's a massive course and a seriously long climb tomorrow. 8 kilometres in length, the final climb tomorrow in Japan. And for me, well, yes, you could go off the front like we've seen SS do in category 2 and trying to establish a time gap, but the other strategy here is just to follow wheels today, to stay in the draft, to stay on a wheel, to just limit any time gaps that you possibly can.
Well, limited time gaps is going to be key. Maximising points is key here today for El Alami. Mohamed El Alami will, I'm sure, move back up through the overall standings, but he's going to go and extend his lead here. Can Buczewski go up to him? I'm not sure that he's going to be able to match the climbing prowess of El Alami. Spratt's gone over the top behind, but they're not going to catch Mohamed El Alami. He is climbing like a man on fire today. It's like he's got rockets in his heels at the moment, wings on his feet, as the saying goes, because my goodness me, what a powerful performance going over the top there, showing that this is his jersey. For anybody else who wants to take it, they're going to have to wrestle it off him. El Alami, 53 points now in total, with those 5 points added to his totals. Spratt in second place now with 30 points. Giuliano with 14 points behind. How long is it before El Alami doubles the points of any other rider? It's not going to be long at this rate.
Do you know, it's still 18 riders in that leading group in category 4, as they are well and truly now into lap 2 here in Zurich. We just drop in with SS, who's the category 2 rider. He's coming towards the end of lap 1. He's going to go underneath the banner and out onto lap 2. 2 more full laps to go, and he's still holding that lead at 43 seconds.
He's put in the effort. He's gone clear. He's holding that now. He just needs to match the effort behind and the draft of the riders. But we're on a big climbing course. We're on a course with lots of ascents, lots of sharp punches. This is going to be really, really key. Let's see what he can do today. Can he push himself up back into contention? Can he get himself right where he needs to be? We're going to have to keep a check on that. I'm just doing a little shuffle in our studios here at Full Speed Events. One man who can't shuffle is Marcin Trajanowski, because he has got to stay in contention at the front of this race here. So we're going to see this big push by him. I tell you something, Fawcett and Van He, interesting. Van He being dropped, Fawcett with him there.
This is Trajanowski and Ross Fawcett, the 2 riders. Now, let's just remember, SS down the road, 45 seconds cleared. This is the group chasing behind. It was 38 riders in this large group, and now we've got Ross Fawcett, and, they're starting now to think about closing this down. They're starting to think about going up the climb again. They're anticipating the fact that SS may be tired or more tired because of that breakaway, and that they could start putting an effort in onto those climbs on the second lap. Well, this is category 1 at the 21.7 kilometre marker. The 5-rider group that we saw are indeed clear by around 150 metres at the moment. There's a gap, Matt, but it's not huge. It's around, I think, 13, 14 seconds.
It's not a definitive gap, that is for certain, from our leading group of riders of 5 leaders on the left-hand side of your screen to the chasers behind. For me, the biggest issue that the chasers face as they go over the rise that drops before they drop down into Zurich proper, and before they get along the side, the waterfront there, is that you've got so much firepower in the front of that race. Whenever it goes uphill, you're playing into the hands of Fink, of Osborne, of Knudsen, of Wu, and of Jones. And because you've got the overall leader in there, I think you and a lot of different teams represented, because the leader is in there, you've lost a lot of the big chasing riders. Yes, the team competition is important, but that the overall is in there, and I think That group behind, it was set early. The die was cast early here. You know, the Rubicon had been crossed. The moves have been made in that first lap.
Well, I wonder whether it's going to stick. I wonder whether at around 15 seconds is enough at the moment, or whether that group can bring it back. Like I said, I still think with Safrazadi in that chase group, if he's still there, and we'll get that check when they come through that next checkpoint. It really is a tale of one team, and that is Boss Moves only.
Indeed, I think you're right. Now let's drop in with our riders here in category 3. We've got Arago and Morgan down the road. We've got Badil just sandwiched between. He's got Montoya, Howeiler and Amaro just behind him. This is Badil. You can see the big group behind him here as they make the way up this climb. They're at 32.7k at the moment. They are just really into that Whitcomb climb. They've still got plenty of distance on that climb to go. The gap has gone at the front. It has opened up just a little bit. They've gone over the top of our third climb. That was the Lindenhof climb.
Now, this is interesting because Christopher Morgan and Nicholas Arago, is it, who have gone clear down the road? I think
no.
it is. It is indeed. So Nicholas
yes.
Arago and Christopher Morgan. Morgan has been out in the front before for level golden. Arago from the What's Up squad also putting in a great performance today. So two riders who have not been in the top 3 yet, pushing on in the category 3 race.
Yep, Morgan third in the climbs competition with another climb to go. So 3 climbs done, 3 to go. Morgan into third place, 1 point behind Batty. Now in with Osmar Vaz, the rider here out of the saddle, kicking on in category 6. Just seeing this big group of riders, the leaders in category 5 go past. And at the moment, Vaz trying to hold the wheel of Efrain Mamba. Mamba just in front here. Big kick comes from Vaz. He's got Milton Newman behind as well. These 3 category 6 riders being separated by the draft effect as the big group goes over the top and going on and past. Really, really, really interesting the way that is changing. I find everything interesting today. You know this,
Well, you know, when you are a fan and a commentator,
yeah, it's true.
Absolutely crucial. And at the moment the racing is good, and category 5 here we're waiting for Andrew Neville, Ross, Matt Smithson, Garcias is here, as well as Reinheimer, Losey, Brambatti. The pack are rolling strongly. They're at the 42.1 kilometre marker. Let's just remind ourselves today the finish line comes at 80.8 kilometres into this race. A lot of climbing today, 1,398 metres of climbing, 3 laps. And can I just say, Matt, I see rain. It's raining in Zurich on the category 6 ride, and they need to be careful because they're on a descent, and when it's a mountainous region, storms do come in.
Yeah, but rain. I was just saying it never rains. They've just proved me wrong. It rains.
Oh, there you go. And sometimes Matt is proved wrong
regularly. Let's face it, you can't say as many words as we do without getting some of them wrong on the way through. So the riders on the descent there, that is Cadabona, Fabre and Cridland, clear by 21 seconds in category 6 from Arago, Milostic, Radamaki Diaz and that big chasing group behind. In category 5, a little bit further back down the road, 4k behind, you can see our big leading group in there, including our yellow jersey wearer, that is Clinton David Cirillo. In category 4, it looks like Perdoncini with that little bit of a gap back to Russimaki, 6 seconds, 7 seconds. Big group behind that are chasing our lone leader in category 4. On the top left hand side, category 3, Morgan has got a gap to the bunch, but joining him is Niall Batty, and they are coming up towards the top of the climb. They're about 400 meters to the top of the Whitcomb climb segment in category 3, and that means there's more points on offer. And the battle between Batty and Morgan here really critical in terms of the overall. Kowalski leading the competition with 28 points. he is not with the leading group at the moment, and this means that he's going to lose out on 5, 4, and 3 points here potentially, and they're going to go to Batty and Morgan on the way up here with Arago, and Batty and Morgan are separated by 1 point, 23 and 22 points respectively. This is really important to try and hold yourself in contention with Kowalski, narrow that gap back down again.
Well, I think Batty really is lining himself up for tomorrow in this King of the Mountains competition here in Category 3. Arago is going to go through Morgan and Batty. Interestingly there, Batty comes off of the pace and now goes up and over the top again and kicks again. But we're seeing the Category 3 riders come through. It's Arago who picks up 5 points. Morgan picks up 3. Morgan picks up 4, Batty picks up 3 in that Category 3 race. At the lower places, Brignall picks up 2 points, Guarin picks up 1. 14 seconds separating the leading 3 in that Category 3 race. But the chase group, 24 riders chasing hard.
So 24 riders chasing, including the leader of the climb competition, David Kowalski. He did have a big lead. He hasn't anymore. 28 points for Kowalski. Didn't score any points there. Morgan has moved into second place and has tied on points with Batty at this stage. 26 points apiece. They're only 2 points behind Kowalski. Oyer at 20, Badil with 18. Arago moving up just outside the top 5 with 10 points now. But Morgan and Batty are snapping at the heels of Kowalski in Category 3. In Category 2, we have our lone leader hoovering up the big points with SS off the front. His teammate, Mr. X100, the rider we're focused on in this group, AE Clan team. We can see, though, that this is a big group of riders. It includes our yellow skin suit of our leader, Masit Mindakowicz. He's still holding position. Our climbs leader in Category 2 is also there. They're also onto that same climb at the moment at 32.3k. Alvarado, the climb leader, with Mr. X100 in second. Big points gap between them. Mr. X100 just clear of Ken, SS and Ross Fawcett. On your screens, though, the man who was deposed from the yellow jersey yesterday, Matthias Van He, in here. He'll be looking for an opportunity to go. And he's a rider who could go hard on that final overpass before dropping down to put Mendakowicz in trouble. But they've got to get to that point.
Yeah, they do have to get to that point. And bear in mind, we're 50 minutes into racing now, 32.6 kilometres of racing done here in Zurich. 80.8 is where the finish line will come. I think we're looking at, well, what about a 2.5 hour race here, 2 hours, 40 minutes for Category 2. And the riders in this pack, well, whether it's this lap or the next, I don't think we're going to see the fireworks until we get to lap number 3 in Category 2. We're going to see a large group continue to roll together, and Tattoo Koivunen on the back of the group taking as much draft as possible and taking as much absolutely key to survival today, and not just survival today but survival into tomorrow, into that big stage in Japan before we hit the rest day. So Ivan Nuki now at the front here with SS off the front, 33 seconds the gap now, so the gap's starting to close down. Koivunen moving up in the group, Bennett moving up in the group, Guerra moving up in the group, Ken moving up in the group. All the riders are looking for that overall GC position in Category 2, now really starting to pay attention on this climb. Jakob Bjorklund is there, Ivan Nuki is there, Lucas Hayland is there. These riders all starting to move up in the pack. Position is key, and the climb is about to get very, very steep here, and the riders continue to push. So we drop in with Jakob Bjorklund at the moment in the pain cave, and you can see the cleanliness and the trophies on the back shelf. Great to have those in the pain cave alongside Jakob Bjorklund. He's alongside Phil Graves, Adrian Alvarado, Alexei Kalman, and Adrian Alvarado right alongside the polka dot skin suit at the moment. Simon Walter is in there as well, all tightly ensconced within this Category 2 group as they continue to push towards the top of this climb? Well, this climb is the Whittaken climb. It's the second climb segment on the lap. It is the longer of the two climbs at 2.5 kilometres in length. But Godzari at the moment still off the front of the group. Ahead of Godzari is SS. So Godzari closing down on SS. Ivan Nuki now coming to the fore. SS still some way up the road at the moment. I was still looking at around 40 seconds. He's at the 33.9 kilometre marker. At the top of the climb coming at 34.5. There's some big pushes and some big climbing going on at the moment in category 2, and some gaps starting to open now behind that initial push from SS. Well, whilst Godzari chases SS down the road and the group try and close it down behind in category 2. In category 1, they are well and truly out onto lap 2, and they're coming to the top of the Lindenhof climb for the second time. And it's Ollie Jones going head-to-head with Jason Osborne at the moment. Yunfei Wu closing down Michael Vink and Michael Knudsen a little bit further back down the road. These three riders now really pushing literally side by side at the moment. Jones, Wu, Osborne, Vink trying to close this down. Michael Knudsen, the first of the breakaway group, now getting gapped. I think Vink and Osborne will want Knudsen back in the mix after this push for the polka dot banner. But they do indeed push for the polka dot banner, and well, Osborne goes through, cements that polka dot skin suit. Wu goes through and picks up 4 points. Jones picks up 3. Vink picks up 2 points. And Michael Knudsen, well, he's going to need to get back onto that group. I'm not sure how he's going to do that at the moment unless the group choose to bring him back in.
And Michael Knudsen's such a determined rider. You know, he's so experienced. He spends a lot of time on climbs, riding outdoors as well as in, and really now has to use all of that experience, all of those skills to push back in to the mix. We're just taking a little bit of a look back on to category 2 here. We will round up those mountain points on category 1 in a second, but here in category 2, the pushes on behind, and you see Khan Kayan here really pushes in through, just goes ahead of Mr. X100 here. The front of this group, as Emma said, just really starting to break apart here. Got Darcy, Mr. X100, Khan Kayan, Mutawai is behind as well. The young rider from the UAE clan team really in the mix here today in category 2 as they came up and over the top of that climb. So Alvarado still holding on to the lead, not scored any points that time around. 5 points for SS, 4 for Godarzi. We've got 3 for Kane, 2 for Mr. X100, 1 for Ritter. When those points are added in, Alvarado with 43 points overall. Mr. X100 with 26 in second place. SS hoovered up those points on the front. He's at 25 points, which puts him in third place. Khan Ken in fourth place with 23. Big gap back then to the riders behind. That's really made a big difference there between those riders. A little bit of a shuffling up at the top. Alvarado, X100, SS, Kane, and then Fawcett. Your top 5 in category 2 on the climb competition. In category 1, Osborne leads double the points of Panizza. He's got 50 points now in total. Panizza's got 25, Wu 17, Tugel 16, Ollie Jones 15 points. Interestingly, in 5th place, tied with Michael Vink on the same point score.
Wow, interesting, isn't it? And the push here from Takasugi in the category 2 race at the 33.4 kilometre marker. Great to see him on our screens again today.
Yeah, nice kit, like that blue and yellow. My first cycling club had blue and yellow kit, very similar. Yeah, definitely feeling it.
Yep.
Come on, Tamaki, you can stay with those riders over the top of this summit, and then you've got a group together. Come on, buddy, keep on pushing. No hill goes on forever. I tell myself that on a regular basis when I'm on the bike. Okay, let's jump in with Michael Nussen. Look at this. He's used that skill, that experience. And I think with a little bit of help from the teammates in front, but not that much, because I tell you something, Nussen's doing 7.5 watts per kilo here to get onto the wheels. Vink and Osborne and Nussen in the lead group. Remember, they came in today in 4th position. They were only 5.9 seconds down on Alpha Jaw. They had a bad day at the office in some ways on stage 2. They lost a second. Now that team is going to blast into the front of the team, to the top of the team standings here, because they've got 3 riders in the leading group of 5.
Yeah, they have indeed, with Knudsen coming back into the fold. So the group of 5 continue to push on. They're at the 33-kilometre marker. It's 1.5k to the top of this next climb, where the next climbing checkpoint is. So they're going up the Whittaken climb for the second time here, going out well and truly onto lap number 2. There's another lap to go yet, and this is an epic stage here in Zurich, and Zurich, home of the World Championships for the road and paracycling in 2024.
Indeed. Do you know what? It's been so good. My coffee has gone cold. And anybody who hears us regularly on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club or commentating for the UCI on all the various disciplines we cover, from mountain bike, cyclocross, indoor cycling, para, etc. Real pleasure, but worse the action. But you will know that I am quite, I have to say, hello, my name's Matt. I'm addicted to coffee. My coffee has actually gone cold for the first time in a long time because of all the action going on all at once here in Zurich on MyWhoosh for the MyWhoosh Championships for 2025. We were on the mic for 2023. That seems a long, long time ago, where our 2 races each day overlapped. An even longer day now because they don't overlap. They run one after the other. We're trying to cover all of those races, all of the race action. 2 of our riders that we saw in 2023, Mr. X100 and SS, on your screens at the moment, both riding for the UAE Clan team. And we've got to say a big thank you to our riders who have been here from the start. There is an elite group of riders who we have seen since the inception of MyWhoosh riding and racing. They're not always the riders that you see on your screen. 2 of them are at the moment with SS and Mr. X100. But I've got to say a massive thank you to those early pioneers who really have seen this game change and evolve to become what it is today, with such fantastic graphics, so many worlds, so many options to jump in, to race and to ride on MyWhoosh. You can join Emma, qualified coach as well as being a professor on MyWhoosh. At some point, Emma will
I'm
resume
not a professor
the coaching.
of MyWhoosh.
No, there isn't one yet that I know of. One day it will happen.
I'm sure
You've
there
got to
must
be
be
in
a
the running
professor
for
of
that.
esports somewhere around the world.
I'm sure there is a professor of esports somewhere in and around the world. But you can join Emma coaching the live coaching sessions along with a great team of coaches. You can see the coach, you can hear the coach, you can communicate them. If you go on the chat board, you can put down your comments in there, they will reply. Jeff Rooney, one of our regular riders on the Sunday Race Club and one of our real big supporters as well, in action here in Category 6, really working hard.
He's got to be loving the stage today here in Zurich. And he's got to be loving Japan tomorrow, because Jeff Rooney, the first rider to Everest on MyWhoosh, loves it when the gradient goes up. He is an absolute legend. And
losing day by day the course profiles off the side there.
I know.
Although I do notice the next one, I can make out the detail because you can see Mount Fuji waiting at the end as if the climbing wasn't enough so far.
Well, Category 6 were the first category of riders out of the start pen today, 1 hour 40 minutes ago. Yes, you heard that correctly. They're at the 53.6 kilometre marker. The finish line comes at 80.8. At the 53.7 kilometre marker, they are through towards the end of lap 2. They are about to go out onto lap 3. Jeff Rooney, look at that MyWhoosh jersey. It's fire, it's flames. He is a light in person as he goes underneath the banner and out onto lap 3.
Jeff Rooney can have a well and truly official 1 more lap to go. There is 1 more lap to go. And anybody who's been a crit in the UK will remember that phrase because you get it drilled into you on the mic by me on a regular basis. And so thank you everybody from the MyWhoosh world and from the cycling world who comes up and says hi when we're out and about in person. But there is 1 more lap to go. Do you know what? I do like a laps race.
Yes.
And not just because I get to say that.
And do you know what is best about being a spectator at a lapped race? is that you can either choose to watch the same place for laps, or you can walk around the venue and the lap and spectate at different places. Well, what places might you choose to spectate here in Zurich? We're going to take a look at the map so you can pick your place.
Okay. This isn't just a laughy jokey profile. Where do you pick your place on the map as well? The map here, you can see this is the big Zurich loop that we complete 3 times. There's just that little run from the pens on the start. Each and every time round, ascending the 2 climbs before coming down into the finish. And the course profile here indicates those spots. And as we go into this last lap, the final 2 climbs are going to be really decisive. Really, really important to see who can go on the climbs. But also, for me, you've got that key moment coming back down in. We've seen sprints. We've seen riders coming down to the sprint. And I always think, well, it's one of the worst sprints is when climbers try to sprint uphill. It doesn't work. They just can't do it. It's just not funny. Here, we've got a flat finish, and we've got groups that have got some great sprinters in them, even though they are also great climbers. And I think across categories 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, we are going to see some big sprints. How much that will be dulled by the fact we've got the checkpoint immediately before the finish, I don't know. I'm not sure how many people realistically are going to go for that final checkpoint.
Well, the final checkpoint is only sort of around 1.4k from the finish line. And interestingly, all of our riders now out onto lap 2. Category 6 and Category 5 leaders out onto lap 3. And Category 6 at the moment coming towards the top of the Lindenhof climb for the 3rd time of asking. The 5th climbing checkpoint of the day out of 6, and you can see here very clearly on your screen Category 5 at the 55.5 kilometre marker. They're on lap 3. Their wheels are going skywards at the moment, and it's a big bunch. Category 6, they are at the 56.9 kilometre marker. They've got 300 metres to go until the top of that climb, and I tell you, it's steep under those wheels at the moment. The gradient around 17%.
So in category 6, as they get towards the top of the climb, the leader in that points competition is still Arago from Cadabona. 5 points separate them. They are a full 20-odd points clear of Toro in 3rd place, with Diaz and Silva behind them. Meanwhile, Category 2, at the moment, you can just see Mr. X100 being brought in to that fold of a big group of riders. They are making their way across the plateau. They're at 41 kilometres covered. So they have got the big descent down off the plateau over the overpass. You don't really go under an overpass. Although you could do, I guess.
You could go under an overpass.
Yeah, I guess you could.
But they don't today.
Let me just rewind that. Going over rather than under the overpass is going to be coming up. And when they do go over there, you've got that sprint coming up. Are we going to see a little bit of a move being made there? I think it's going to come down to that climb. For me, can they bring back SS? He's been dangling 40 seconds away from the lead.
Yes. He is. And I have to say, does go, SS's lead at the moment goes out and comes back, goes out and comes back. It's fluctuating between about 40 and 35 seconds. And at the moment, X100 and the group behind are now really starting to push. The differential at the moment, we need them on the same type of gradient. At the moment, they're not. SS on the descent here, and the group behind, well, the group behind are really starting to motor, and now either SS has to commit to this, but I tell you something, it's still got 38 kilometres to go. Commitment has been commitment to the break, and all credit to SS for doing so. But the group behind at some point, I tell you, have got to push and will be looking to close him down.
They will, and I think it brings to mind just how tough the course really is here today, because it is 3 absolutely brutal laps, and I would agree with that. A number of people saying that they are 3 brutal laps. It is 3 tough races, but we are getting harder and harder, and it's not the most climbing.
No, that's tomorrow.
Yes, it's 80k long, but it's not got as much climbing. We're only 1,398 metres of ascent here today. We're going to 1,756 metres in 66k. 3/4 of the race distance, and yet we've got a huge amount climbing more.
Well, we drop back in with category 1, and they are out on the course at the moment at the 38.1 kilometre marker. They're pushing on one of these small rises, and at the moment there is indeed a real push coming on, because Vink and Osborne, Jones and Wu have dropped Michael Knudsen again. So they dropped Michael Knudsen earlier on the course on the climbs as they came into lap number 2. Knudsen got back onto the group. One of the pushes now on the top of the rise on lap 2. Well, this push is now starting to drop Knudsen again. I'm just taking a little check here. Yeah, that is indeed one of the pushes on the top of the second lap. Those small rises can cause real problems.
And I think that's a move to try and distance, to try and get rid of Jones, not get rid of Knudsen. And Vink and Osborne are not going to try and get rid of Knudsen.
Oh, Jones
but I
is
think
going
they know
nowhere.
that they're secure. They're secure in that team competition. So now it's all about making Wu suffer, making Jones suffer and chase. They can back right off and let Knudsen join back on again and play the games on the front and really test those two riders from the same team versus two individual riders. Jeff Rooney in action here. You can see that silver fern in the background, the MyWhoosh jersey there. The fans are rolling. This is going to be a massive push for Jeff on the climb. He needs to try and keep kicking here. He's got Montoya behind him. Brett McMurtry. I mean, Brett McMurtry is a class rider. He's got his own fan club, for goodness sake. And McMurtry is 45 seconds behind Rooney.
Never discount the endurance ability of Jeff Rooney.
No, definitely
not. He is a phenomenal rider and a phenomenal racer and a
phenomenal
character. And he is one rider who has resilience. He has determination. He has absolute commitment. And I tell you something, he really enjoys his bike riding and he really enjoys his racing as well. And it's always fabulous to watch him race too. Well, Jeff, part and parcel of that category 6 race, they're at the 57.2 kilometre marker, and Rooney coming towards that climbing checkpoint. And that climbing checkpoint is the third time up the Whitcomb climb.
So category 5 on the way up there. Category 6 have gone through the Whitcomb climb. I don't know if Emma can find the scores on that, because it was getting really close in the category 6 competition at the top of the Whitcomb climb, going up and over there. I'm just taking a quick check through. Well, it has got close. It's got even closer. So category 6 at the top of the Whitcomb climb on stage number 4. Just taking a little bit of a check here. The overalls have changed, so they've come through, and Arago has scored on there. Cadabona has scored on there, because Cadabona at the moment in category 6 has 48 points, but he's tied on points by Arago, also on 48 points. Toro is at 22, Fabra at 11, tied with Diaz behind. But really is becoming a battle between those two riders at the moment, between Cadabona and Arago in category 6. Now, category 5 also making their way up these final sets of climbs, going up towards the top. Dono was leading in the points competition on the King of the Mountains there as well. But O'Donoghue with a lead from Tapia, Haglund, Castro, Reinheimer and co. Meanwhile, just taking a quick check on the racing. We're in at category 2. We're in with Nathan Guerra. That was a very casual Nathan that we just dropped in with there. Just tapping around at the moment. Good to see Nathan in action in the pain cave there, the air conditioning running to get that hot air out and to keep the temperature down. Looking pretty warm there is Nathan, I have to say. But for a man who has had a bit of pressure on his shoulders, not least added to by me by saying he's under pressure, making his way down. Going to rehydrate and Nathan fueled there by the Precision Nutrition team there, doing some real fueling on board. At the moment, nicely in with this group of chasers behind SS at the moment.
Yeah, he is indeed. And, with the position to defend on GC, he's going to be really watching what he does today at 46.2k. That chase group, Muktawi, Nuki, Godzari, Morel, Khan, Kaplinski, Ritter, Biarhead, Fawcett and Guerra in there as well. Well, they're on the right-hand side of your screen. They are around 5 kilometres down the road from the leaders in the Category 1 race. And Michael Vink is on the front again. They've gone up and over the top and onto the descent here. And you can see that transition, the pace coming off. But Vink kicking into the descent to get the momentum up and then to carry that down the hill. So Osborne, Vink, Jones and Wu, the 4 riders at the moment clear in the Category 1 race. Michael Knudsen is not far off the back of the group, and then it is some way back to the chase.
And we will get an updated time check between those groups in Category 1 as we go in through the sprint checkpoint at the end of lap number 2, Zurich sprint number 2. And the last time check that we had on the groups was back at the Whitcomb Climb, and so much has happened since then. I think really we need to wait now to that Zurich sprint number 2 to get those a good idea of who is where left and where on the road they are, how big those time gaps are, maybe a bit further down in the pack in Category 1. We're in with Category 2, we're in with Ross Fawcett at the moment, a rider who is clearly enjoying himself on the roads today. Might be a particular type of enjoyment as he makes his way in and along at the moment. But for me, Fawcett, he's got the endurance, he's got the experience, he knows how to race and to ride, and I think that's showing today. Sat in that pack, Category 2. Is it going to be an en masse bunch sprint? Is it really going to come back? I mean, you've got to feel for SS. He's been out there hovering. I think they're going to pull him back.
There's still like 33 kilometres to go. I do think they will pull SS back into the bunch. Will it be a sprint at the finish?
A big group sprint, like 20 riders plus. I mean, it's a huge group.
Do you know, I don't think it will. I think we're going to see a smaller group. I think we're going to see this group break. That's what I think is going to happen. They're at the 48.4 kilometre marker. They are, still pushing on lap 2 here. It's a really interesting race in Category 2. It's been so close the whole way, and we're on stage 4, day 4 of this 8 days. And, it's a real mixed bag. I think, for me, this is about team communication and perhaps, getting the right group of riders down the road. But the question is, at what point do you do that? This potentially, I think, still too early in the race to go, because a lot of these riders are also going to be saving their legs for tomorrow. Tomorrow really is the big, hard mountain stage. 66.3 kilometers of racing tomorrow in Japan, 1,756 meters of climbing. The first climb of the day, 5 kilometers long, coming at the 11k mark with an average gradient of 8.7%. Mount Fuji is where they finish, 8 kilometers of climbing, an average gradient of 9.7%. And I can tell you, there are some sections on Mount Fuji, the rule book has had to change for categories 5 and 6 and allow them a lower gradient feel on the platform than the standard 50% of racing because of the steepness of the climb and the gearings required.
That was the kind of worms that Emma just opened regarding gradient and feel. Essentially, it is so steep on Mount Fuji that categories 5 and 6 have been allowed to lower the gradient so that they don't have to put an even bigger cassette on the back of the bike. And that it is literally that because of the amount of power available versus the speed versus the gradient versus all of those things that go into the algorithm. So when you're producing those watts, categories 5 and 6 have been given dispensation.
Love that word.
It's good, wasn't it? Given dispensation for that stage to lower the gradient. All the riders at the moment on 50% resistance or more for the setting on their turbo trainer, on their smart trainer. If you are going to struggle with that gearing, then the recommendation is, if you're in categories 5 and 6, to lower the resistance to, I think it's a maximum of 30%. Yeah.
It's a small adjustment. So, category 5. That's where we are at the moment, 60.8 kilometres into this race. I tell you, they've already gone up and over the Lindenhof climb for the 3rd time of asking today. Tapia, Reinheimer, Pulaka and Wang, 4 riders off of the front of the bunch, heading to the top of the Whitacombe climb for the third time.
Yeah, really, really important this, because now Tapia is currently at 46 points. He's behind O'Donoghue, who's on 51 points. There are 5 points between them. There are 5 points at the top of this climb, and Tapia will desperately want those to tie with points with O'Donoghue. Behind, you can see Reinheimer, who's sitting in 5th place. In this group, he's leading this group up. He's riding there, and he's trying to spoil the party for the rider Tapia there. He's on a different team than Tapia. He's on the same team as O'Donoghue. So this is going to be all about where those points end up. Tapia will want them. Reinheimer's leading this out. Can Tapia kick at the right time? He's going to make a move. Polaki's coming up on the shoulder of Tapia, and Tapia is not going to take these 5 points. It's going to go to Reinheimer. This is teamwork at play here. Bruno O'Donoghue, the climber leader's teammate, is going to go through in front. They're all about taking the points here as they go through. This is over the top of the climb. Now we're seeing a push from Pulaka. Really starts to wind this up. He's going after Reinheimer, who's gone over the top as well. There is the opportunity to try and break this group properly as they go over here and get some gaps opened up, because O'Donoghue and the rest of the bunch at the moment are about 13, if not 14 seconds behind. There is a chance to break clear.
Well, at the top of this final climb checkpoint in Category 5, Reinheimer picks up 5 points. The young rider Tapia picks up 4. Pulaka picks up 3. Wang picks up 2. And Neville Ross is in the mix, picking up 1. Now we've got 2 riders clear, 2 riders chasing, and then a pack of 16 riders in Category 5. In Category 6, 8 riders went over the top there within 30 seconds. And it's looking to me, when I look down the road, that there are small groups on the road at the moment in Category 6.
So Category 6 with a smaller and much more fractured group, 16 riders chasing two in Category 5. The points that you saw on your screen in the Category 5 in the mountains competition being added in as they end the climb segments for today on the top of the Whitacombe climb. Bruno O'Donoghue has held on to his lead in the climbs competition overall by 1 point from Fabian Tapia, who takes 50 points away to O'Donoghue's 51. Hagland is in 3rd place, with Reinheimer moving up into 4th place from 5th. He's now on 13 points. Pulaka moving up. He's tied on points in 5th position with Louis Castro on 10 points. But O'Donoghue holding on by the skin of his teeth, by the tightest margin, 1 point from Tapia in the points competition on the climbs in Category 5.
Well, they've just gone through Category 2, that is. They've just gone through the sprint checkpoint at the end of lap 2. And I can tell you, at that point in the race, well, SS's lead has gone out substantially. It's now at around 1 minute and 13 seconds. Yep, 1 minute 13 seconds. The chase group behind him, well, the size of that group is phenomenal. It's 29 riders. So Category 2, SS in 1, over a minute clear of a chase group of 29. I think 29 riders could well catch one man down the road, but 29 riders sound and look as though they're all looking at each other and playing the biggest game of cat and mouse there is out there. And do they not realise, they've got another, 27k to go?
I think they thoroughly recognise 27k to go. And they've gone, well, you want to go on the front and ride out the front for the world's longest breakaway SS, go for it. And you do see this. For me, I think this is really going to be a case of how long do you leave SS there before you put in a concerted chase? You're not going to get any help from the UAE clan team to chase down SS, but all the other there's so many teams in the running here in Category 2. And, you've got the Goats, the Hitmen, the ABC Sports, the Watt Bombers, the Smarties. They're all ahead of the UAE clan team. The UAE clan team have been trading places with fast guys. There's 0.4 of a second between them in terms of a team competition. 3 riders together, it's going to be a real battle there. And I think they should I think they're going to wait until they hit the climb, and then it's going to be boom. They're going to start to then think about that finish. Now, we're just diving in with our group of leaders in Category 1. Jason Osborne, Ollie Jones, Michael Vick, and Yunfei Wu in the mix. Jones, the leader of the GC competition, coming into stage 4, with Michael Vick, who has been really putting in the hard kilometres. He's in second place overall. You've got Jason Osborne. Osborne currently sitting in 7th place overall. And then you've got Wu Wu, started the day in 10th position overall. But Wu, the lowest placed of the 4 leaders, only 4.7 seconds back on Jones. So of these 4, if any one of these 4 can break away, if it's Jones, he'll extend his lead. If it's any of the other 4, they have the chance to take away the GC lead as they leave here, and that stage lead. Behind them, Michael Knudsen working hard.
Well, he is, and he's around 500 metres behind. Michael Knudsen's job as third counter now for the Boss Moves Only squad is to stay clear of the chase group behind. That's the job for Michael Knudsen right now here in Zurich, and he's doing a sterling job of that. He's working his way well and truly through the Category 2 group that started 10 minutes before him. Sebastian Havo, the birthday.
He is indeed the birthday boy. Will he hand out a piece of cake? You know, a bit
of
refueling, a bit of cake here. Michael, you're on your way through. Have a bit of birthday cake. Here you go.
Maybe Michael Knudsen will give him a birthday wave, but I don't suppose he will because he's too concentrated on continuing on the pace.
But look, you can see the avatar, and I bet that's Michael Knudsen in person. Crouched low over the bars, just really tapping out a rhythm. That gap at the moment, it's not huge, you know. I think it's about 20 seconds or so. We're going to get a time gap a little bit further on. But if it is only 20 seconds from Knudsen to the group behind as we go out onto lap 3, that is by no means secure. And there may be a
16 seconds.
There's got to be a thought here for the riders in front for Osborne and Ving. If we're going to make this team gap decisive, we really need to push on.
Well, talking about pushing on, an X100 has pushed on the front of the Category 2 pack. His teammate SS is down the road, and at last check, he was over a minute down the road, which really means that the other riders in the UAE clan team can now do what they want with the group and ride off the front should they wish, because the gap SS has established over the first 2 laps of the race now cemented that lead. Unlikely to come down. I say unlikely. Just anything can happen on a stage race. But the riders behind here in this group, at last count, there were 29 riders in this group in Category 2. They're at the 55.2 kilometre marker. They are coming towards the start of, they're into the start of lap 3. They're coming towards the first climb of the lap. They are going to head up to the Lindenhof climb for the 3rd time as they come down along the shores of Lake Zurich and take that right-hand turn at the end of this lap. Do you know, this was the piece of road where they were laying tarmac and covering those tracks, the tram tracks that you can see here on the road as the corners, as the riders take the right-hand corner. When I was in Zurich, the road workers were out the first 3 days of the championships before this lap was used, covering those tram tracks with beautiful metal plates and then fastening them down.
An insight into the world of race organisation from Emma there, and I just wish you'd seen the actions that went with the verbal description there, as Emma with her hands basically did a full-on demonstration of screwing a metal plate into a steel tram track. One man who is at the moment absolutely railing this, Marcin Wozniak, on his way up this climb and nicely ensconced in this group of chasers. This is the biggest group on the road in Category 2. It's also the leading group of chasers. In front of them, they have got escapees, but at the moment, the fireworks have yet to be lit. What I'm really hoping is that this isn't a damp squib that goes off from this group, because they are sat in this pack and don't let hesitation. There seems to be a hesitation here to actually go. Is it a fear of going too early? Is it a case of waiting for the opportune moment, and the opportune moment never comes? This is going to be really key. When we go up, we've got Mr. X100 up the road from that group. They are behind him. In front of him is his teammate. Interestingly noted that we had Motorway in the group as well in category 2. He's on the front of the big bunch here. So the UAE clan team with the front 3 riders on the road at that point in time. Now we start to see a move come from the group. The pace is picking up here, and this is now an acceleration from this group. They have got to try and close down on our race leader, SS. They've got to try and close down on his teammate, Mr. X100. Whilst they're doing this, they are towing Phil Graves and Mohammed Motorway up to the riders in front, because they're not going to be doing a job of work in terms of breaking the wind. They're going to be just following in those wheels to make sure that they've got as much energy left later. Now, coming to the top of the climb, in category 2, the King of the Mountains competition in category 2, well, Alvarado leading that. He's clear. He's not going to be touched at the top. Alvarado's got 43 points. Mr. X100 ahead of SS by 1 point. They're going to be tied on points, I suspect, as they go over the top, but we will see. Meanwhile, category 1, Vic and Osborne on the wind up here, and they have distanced Ollie Jones. Can they keep on pushing? That was a run down in, I think, through the checkpoint there as they go in through. We're at 54.5k, and that checkpoint, I think the sprint for the checkpoint, the aftermath of that was that Jones and Osborne kept on kicking. Osborne went with Vink. Jones had to keep pushing to go with them, stay with them. Wu goes back in. Status quo resumed. 4 leaders back together again. They have a gap to Nussen, and the Nussen has a gap to the group behind, but we're going to see if that sticks, because I'm just taking a little check back, a little look back, and I think that Nussen may have been absorbed into the chasing group. We will know when they go through that checkpoint.
Well, I'll tell you something. The top 4 riders in category 1 now out onto the final lap here in Zurich. The final lap for Vink, Wu, Osborne and Jones. Are we going to see a 4-up sprint at the finish, or are we going to see an attack after attack on the climbs today? Well, category 2 come through. The Lindenhof climb on lap 3. Oh, the time gap. 1 minute, 7 seconds to SS.
So 1 minute, 7 seconds to SS up in front. Carcane leading the charge over the top in pursuit of SS. SS taking 5 points on that climbs competition. Carcane taking 4. Stuart Miller taking 3. Matthias Van He taking 2. And Moritz Ritter taking 1 point. That means at the top of that climb, with 1 more climb to go, Alvarado on 43 points in the lead. SS now on 30 points in second place. Carcane jumps over the top of Mr. X100. He has 27 points to Mr. X100's 26. Ross Fawcett tied with Marcin Trojinowski in 5th place there. So Alvarado in 1, SS in 2, Carcane in 3, X100 in 4, Ross Fawcett and Trojinowski in 5th place in category 2 with 1 climb left to go.
Right, let me give you a little update on where we are in category 1. We've got 4 riders clear: Vink, Wu, Osborne and Jones. Before going out onto the final lap, Michael Knudsen was around 40 seconds back. 15 seconds behind him, the chase group of 4: Turek, Van Elst, Safrazadi and Chugals. Then a further 35-second gap back to Skierski. Skierski had company in the shape of Hayden Pucker, two riders battling in that young rider competition, and then a further 35 seconds back to Power, Vujasin, Kaminski, Pedersen, Paradians, Noren and Andreasen.
That is a relatively big group for what is a very fractured race.
It is a very fractured race, and really interesting to see who is putting in the power today and who is going to take top spot. I think the final lap is going to be exceptionally exciting because that lead group of 4, no one is going to want to break away. Well, no one is going to want to let a breakaway go. There's a number of riders, 4 of them, who are all going to want to break away off the front.
Well, break or breakthrough today, it is one truly broken apart to the Category 1 race field. However, we have 6 categories out on that race field. Category 6 at the moment at 69.9k, 69.5k. The Category 5 leaders in with Wang there. You can see at the moment a real battle in Category 4 with the yellow jersey on the road there, right in the mix, along with Buchanowski and Co. They are at the 66.4k marker. Category 3 at the moment are at 61.6k, and that is Rafael Amaro, Morgan, and Fourier, the leading 3 riders, with a 17-second gap back to Kowalski.
Yes, and then just behind Kowalski is the chasing group, and that chasing group in the Category 3 race, well, it's 21 riders strong.
And David Kowalski had been leading, and it is now past tense, the King of the Mountains competition in Category 3. As we've gone over the top of the final climb, Christopher Morgan, who's up in that leading group, has overtaken him. He has 37 points. Morgan has 37 points. He is in this leading group of riders going up over the top of that 62.1k marker. So Morgan leading the competition, claiming that polka dot jersey that he'll pull on at the end of the day today. At the end of stage 4, going into stage 5, 37 points to David Kowalski's 32 points. Now Batty in third with 26 points. Henrik Oyer in fourth with 20. And David Badil, 18 points. He's in 5th position. Riders on your screen at the moment. Well, Nicholas Spratt in Category 4, right-hand side of your screen, just going off the screen in the lead at the moment. We're in with Rafael Amaro at the moment. He's got companies on the wheel of Morgan at the moment. These leaders, Rafael Amaro out of the saddle in person. The Avatar sprinting to stay with Morgan. Morgan with the sprint and the climbs jersey at the moment. They're both those jerseys there. But you can see behind Brignall, not all that far behind. He's certainly within visible distance of the leaders. Benjamin Brignall on the left of your screen in person. The Avatar on the right hand side here, out of the saddle. Brignall really putting the power down here at the moment. Well over 360 watts, 378, 377. He's really holding that power for a long time. 13 seconds in front, the race leaders. Squillari and that punch behind. Well, yellow jersey Squillari at 3 seconds, and that means it's 16 seconds from the breakaway group to Squillari, the race leaders that came into stage 4.
Well, Brignall pushing it on the front, but I don't think he's going to get away from the group, and he's not going to transition over to these leading 3, Amaro, Morgan and Fournier. The 3 riders leading Category 3. Christopher Morgan holds the polka dot and the green skin suit, so his race is going really well for him. These 3 riders clear of the race group behind. You cannot see them. They are out of sight, but maybe not out of mind. But the chase group of 21 riders, it's going to be hard to break away from that group now. The 63.3 kilometre marker, they're on the top of the climb. They're rolling along the, I say, bumpy toplands before they descend down, and just one climb really that is of any intention before they take that run into the finish line today. Well, this is Category 2. SS Khan Cairn is on the move here. SS is now only 9 seconds clear. Khan Cairn, Matthias Vanhey, Marvin Godzari, the 3 riders working to bring him back into the fold with 20 kilometres to go in this race. Khan Cairn, for me, at the start of the stage race, was a really big pick in Category 2. He's really, really a rider on form at the moment.
He certainly is, and it shows at the moment, and he's on the pursuit at the moment of SS. I think it's not going to be long till he's on his wheels. Van Heat, former yellow jersey, making his way up here with Ritter Koistonen, X100 and Morel, all on the way up here. SS, if his mission today was to go out and to get some airtime, he's certainly achieved that. If his mission was to get an absolutely shopping basket load of climb points, of sprint points. He's done that. He's put them all in his bag. But now you're starting to see the riders come onto his wheel. They go up alongside. I'm sure SS will want to get these final points at the top of the climb. You can see he's digging in deep to stay with them. Van He is in here, and I think Van He is now choosing that moment to go with Kayan here with Godarzi. They're pushing on up this climb. Kayan on 27 points in the climb competition. SS on 30. X100 on 26. They're all following Alvarado. But now, as they go over the top, surely Van He's going to keep this push going. They don't want to make this easy for the riders behind. It's still a big group, but it has strung out. They have done some damage. Godarzi, Van He and Kayan, 3 new leaders in Category 2 with a long-time breakaway rider, SS, being passed and about to get caught by that bunch.
Well, whilst this is just a 2-kilometre segment, overall this is a really long climb, and you can see from the top right-hand corner, the climb has not finished yet, and these 3 riders, Van He, Godzari and Kayan, could well go clear here. This could be a really strong move. They would need to transition along the top, drop down into the descent, and then run into the finish line. It is a big ask. It's just shy of 20 kilometres away, but can they do it?
Well, it remains to be seen. The overall still to be decided. The final sprint points just before that finish. SS grabbing 2 points in that final run up there. You could see him desperately clawing for them, trying to stay with that group. Those 2 points mean at the top of the King of the Mountains competition in Category 2, at the top of that climb, the very last climb of the day, the Whitcomb climb, the 3rd time of asking. Adrian Alvarado still leads, 43 points. Kayan and SS tied in 2nd place with 32 points. 4th place, Mr. X100. 5th place, it's Ross Fawcett. But at the moment, that battle between Kayan and SS is going to be put on pause in Category 2 as they now race their way down into the finish. We're in with Category 5. We're in with Nicholas Hagland. Good to see into that pain cave at the moment. And you can see out the saddle here, really putting down the power through that bike. In the draft here, this Category 5 group, it is a big group here, making their way along here at the 75.3 kilometre marker. They have only left in front of them the Category 6 leaders. So Category 6 leaders in front. Category 5 leading bunch are on the way, and the Category 6 leaders are going to be very aware that it can cause carnage when the big group come up and over the top.
Well, I'll tell you something. This is the front of the race at the moment with Category 5 and Category 6. I'm just taking a little look back at the Category 1 results for the Lindenhof climb for the 3rd time of asking. They're not over the Whitcomb climb yet. 3 riders clear now. Ollie Jones struggling to stay with the group of Osborne, Vink and Wu. He's 3 seconds back going over the top. A chase group of 5 riders at 32 seconds behind Van Elst, Churik, Safrazadi, Tugels and Knudsen. Knudsen is now in that chase group. And then a further 25 seconds back, Skierski and Pucker. So the top 11 riders through. It's then a full minute back to the chase group further down the road of Power, Kaminsky, Vujasins, Paradians, Pedersen, Andreasen et al.
Yeah, Ollie Jones started the day 1.167 clear of Fink. He had a slightly bigger gap to Osborne, 2.53 seconds, and he had 4.73 seconds to Wu. But if that gap opens any further going over the top, if Jones can't get on, he is going to be in trouble. Meanwhile, on our screens, Category 6 and Category 5 leaders are all together. This could be a simultaneous bunch sprint into the finish. We're in with Daniel Dotto in Category 5. Category 5 have got a descent as well as Category 6 having that same descent simultaneously here. And it does mean that the Category 6 riders, in theory, I don't think should be distanced here by the Category 5. It's about the amount of power put down, and I don't think the differential between Category 5 and 6 will be enough to shed the Category 6 riders. 5 and 6 could well be coming into our race and finish together before they get there after this descent, and as they go onto the flat, the final sprint of the day. Zurich sprint number 3. Points up for grabs for category 6 and 5 on the right-hand side of your screen. Left-hand side of your screen, look at the damage that has been done.
Well, Vink, Osborne and Wu, the damage has been done because Jones is now at 23 seconds. They've gone through the final climb checkpoint of the day here in Zurich, and the 3 riders leading the category 1 race are now 23 seconds up on Ollie Jones, who was with them not that long ago. What I'm now looking for is the chase group of 5 riders in that race to see what the time gap is at the top of the Whittaker climb between Jones and that group. It's looking like Jones may have a lonely ride to the finish to hold on to 4th place.
Wow. All going to be down to what they do in this section over the top. What can Jones do to respond here? He's got to keep on pushing to minimize those time gaps. He's working for the team as well as working for himself. But it is Osborne, Wu, and Vink. They've shown themselves to be the strongest climbers week after week on the Sunday Race Club. They've climbed clear at the moment.
Well, I can tell you now that behind Ollie Jones, Said Safrazadi has moved into 5th place with Stefan van Elst on his wheel. Those 2 riders at now over a minute behind Jones. Around 12 seconds back on them, Turek, Tugels and Knudsen. It's looking like Safrazadi and van Elst may be moving clear of the rest of that group of what was 5 riders.
Okay, we are in category 5 at the moment. We're in with Clinton Dave Cirillo. He tightens up the shoes. That is a surefire sign that he thinks this is going to come down to a sprint. Come on, Clinton. This is the time to make it count. He's here in the yellow jersey as our stage winner on stage 1. He absolutely annihilated everybody else off his wheel at that stage. He took that yellow jersey. He held on to it for a day only because Hertz came over the top to beat him. Cirillo went back into first. Hertz versus Cirillo, a real fight in the sprint here. And this realistically, I think here we are going to see the decisive move. Who is going to take the yellow jersey in the Category 6 race and the Category 5 race be decided by who can win today's stage, because this is going to be absolutely key.
Well, we called the Category 5 and Category 6 women over the line together earlier on today in Zurich. It's looking like we're going to call the sprint between the Category 5 and Category 6 racers over the line together in Zurich in the men's race as well. Well, they come through the final sprint checkpoint of the day. It's looking like Carvajal picking up 5 points from Hagland and Leonard in Category 5. In Category 6, well, it's looking like Junior Silva goes through ahead of Riley Milostic. I can tell you there are 18 Category 5 riders in the group, and there are 6 Category 6 riders in the group. This is going to be one big up sprint very, very shortly. All 24 riders, well, they're coming towards the line. They've got a little way to go till they get to the 1,000 meter marker, but it is coming and coming fast.
So this is going to be about making sure that you're in the draft until the key moment to accelerate and to move into the wind and move clear at the front. The only time that absolutely matters is when you get to the line. Get to that line first. See what you can do. I don't think we're going to see anybody surely go for a real long one here. It's so flat. It is such a long, straight section. Nobody surely is going to go and be brave, be bold and go for this. You've got to stay in here. There's so much draft available in this group. We've got a real mix of riders. We've got yellow jerseys in here. We've got polka dot jerseys of our climb leaders as well. We've got masters leaders, but that could all be shaken up by what happens now. Never mind by what's happening behind with those big time gaps. Now the sprinter's gone, and it's Martin Wang doing a Wang, going away from the front in the last stages here. He's gone long again. He went long yesterday. Can he hold it to the line? That is such a monumental task at this stage here today. 80.8 is the distance they've got to cover in kilometres. Smithson moving up, Dotto moving up, Mkhitaryan is in the mix here. Do not go too soon or you are going to be in trouble. Here we go. This is the kick. This is the run. 300 meters, 250 meters. Mac Lenador starts to get mobbed here as over the top goes Andrew Neville Ross in the sprint jersey there in category 5. Cadabona is coming in category 6. This could well mean a change at the top in terms of the overall. Cadabona in category 6 is going to be a category 6 winner. Reinheimer takes it, I think, in category 5. Reinheimer goes in and through. Andrew Neville Ross there with cramp in his leg. He goes through in category 5 behind Reinheimer. So it's Reinheimer from Neville Ross, from Pulaka, from Moutier, Hagland, Matari, Kendall, Cirillo, Ramati, and Lenador. They're your top 10 in category 5. Category 6, Emma?
Well, category 6, Cadabona took the win from Radamaki. Riley Milostic came through in 3rd place. Junior Silva, Maxine Fabra, and Roberta Diaz coming through to round out the top 6 places. I'm hoping the cramp for Neville Ross wears off quickly and he does some great recovery overnight.
Well, I think, just trying to double check the time gaps here, we saw Cadabona go in and through 1.2 seconds clear of Milostic, and he was... I think that means that we're going to get Cadabona in 1 and Milostic into the overall. We'll have to wait and find out all the results on MyWhoosh.com. Make sure you go to that results page. Remember, it's not official until you get that official blue stamp on there when the results are verified and all that data double-checked. The race data checking as well as, of course, well, that verification process ensuring our riders are racing all to an accurate race finish. Move off the front here. Johan Moreno doing a hitman clear on the front here. Ramirez on your screen leading this big group down into the descent.
Yeah, they are indeed, and they are coming down into the flat run to the finish. And there you go, Lake Zurich is ahead of them as they take the right-hand bend on the highway and sweep down into the city centre. They're going to sweep down towards the final sprint checkpoint of the race in around 400 metres. Then they've got the run to the finish line. The finish line, well, it is 2.1 kilometres. They've got to get through this sprint checkpoint first, and I think this is what Moreno is going for. Ramirez is in the pack behind, but it is indeed the rider out front at the moment, dialing it towards the sprint checkpoint, the final sprint checkpoint of the day, and Johan Moreno will go over, or should I say under, that sprint checkpoint in 1. Nicholas Spratt goes through in 2. Lynn goes long, and that is a long effort because that is a big run for the finish line. He's gone at 14 watts per kilo. He's at 79.1. He's got 1,700 metres to go. This is a massive effort. This is a huge long run for the line.
Come on, this is what we love to see. This is why we love cycle racing. You Lynn, 14 watts per kilo over the top. He now takes a quick bit of recovery at 5 watts per kilo. He's going to need to kick again because Spratt is on his way. They are coming behind here in category 4. A big kick, a big move as they run towards the finishing straight in category 4. Just a quick update for you. Category 5, I think the yellow jersey is going to be Reinheimer, courtesy of that win. I think he has taken away the yellow jersey from Cirillo because of the time differences, and it's time differences that count now.
Well, time differences are what we're starting to see in this group of category 4 riders. 15 riders went through the final checkpoint together, just 1.4 kilometres from the finish line. We saw a big kick from Lind. Spratt's come onto his wheel. They're 4 seconds, 5 seconds clear of the group behind, and now Nicholas Spratt digs. Spratt is a great rider for a long attack. He's got company with Lin. Santiago Ramirez is on your screen at the moment. He is leading the charge behind and trying to run up onto the back of Lin's wheel. Can Spratt drag strip this out? He's got around 700 metres to do so. Lin and Ramirez are bringing the rest of the group across. Can Spratt stay clear?
So Spratt in the green on the front. Yunyu, Lin and Ramirez behind. They're at 3 seconds, 4 seconds. Then it's going to be Chowski who's coming with Elamani. Ibrahim is in here. He's the big sprinter who's likely to accelerate up Esabri. Ibrahim in 8th place at the minute in the bunch, but the man they're after and the man they've let go is the wrong person to let go. When he sees the finish, oh my goodness, it's like he's got an extra gear. He's put it in overdrive. Nicholas Spratt here continues to push to the line. Nicholas Spratt, the sprint leader, is going to go in and across the line here today. He has got to wait and see. Will it be enough to go clear of Ibrahim? Ibrahim chasing hard behind him. My goodness me, Ibrahim, has he done enough to keep hold of the jersey? Spratt came through with the win. He was 2.9 seconds down on the race leader. Emma, what is the time gap between our first and second place rider today?
2.7 seconds. Ibrahim is going to stay in the
Whoa.
lead. Just. But Nicholas Spratt, what can we say? Phenomenal riding, great timing, great push, great effort, and what a stage.
Spratt goes through in the lead there. That gap, I mean, we're talking 0.2 of a second. Ibrahim had to give that absolutely everything to hold the jersey. Never mind to take second on the stage here today. Brilliant riding here in our category 6, 5, and 4. 6 race categories, fantastic racing in all of those. Don't forget, you could be racing just like this. You could be riding the MyWhoosh Championships in the next edition, whenever that's going to be. Got to say, don't forget, each and every Sunday, 52 weeks of the year, the Sunday Race Club, 6 race categories, all riders verified. Everybody out and racing, big prizes, team prizes in the monthly finals, qualifiers on the way through to the end of each and every month, prizes for our top 10 individual riders. There are prizes for our sprint segment winners, for our climb segment winners, and the team competition. Get yourselves on board. Download the app, iOS, Android, and on Windows. Jump on board. Come and ride with the riders that you're seeing here today. Ride with the riders that you've seen entertain us in the women's and the men's race. We've got Category 3 on the way in towards the line, Emma. This is going to be... This could be very decisive.
Well, it's also really interesting because Rafael Amaro was clear with Christopher Morgan early on. He's now 12 seconds clear on his own. Fabulous riding. Take a little look, though, at the chase group behind. It's wide across the road, and Kowalski here on our screens. He's got one of those Alpha Jaw jerseys on. Got to know where to get one of those from because I seriously like them. But at the moment, Morgan, Kowalski, Kansara, Kochkov are all in the chase group, and the man they're chasing is Rafael Amaro down the road. He is at 14 seconds. He's continuing with a really strong pace here, but at the 76.8 kilometre marker, they've got 4 kilometres to go.
Amaro at the moment, Amaro coming in was 7.46 seconds down. He could be riding into the win. A long way to go, though.
Well, Category 1 now at the 71.5 kilometre marker. The 3 riders clear on the front, Wu, Vink and Osborne. They are significantly clear of Ollie Jones. You can see 500 metres clear of Ollie Jones. And that's around, well, I say it's around. It's looking to me like it is around a minute.
And Jones still ascending to the top of that climb. They're already on the way down, so they've got the speed. They're picking up that distance. They're going to be making the ground. Jones now goes over the top. The gradient changes to a descent. He's got to push here. Can he get back in touch? We are going to see plenty of those yellow jerseys change hands. We've seen them being held by 0.2 of a second in Category 4. We've got Category 2 and 1 on the way in at the moment. I really am interested to see what happens in that Category 1 race. The team tactics there by the Boss Moves only. They've really played the team card today and used the strength of their riders. We've seen that trying to play out in Category 2. Goddardzi at the moment on the front on this rise. This is the last real opportunity, though, on the way to the finish for a climber to break clear. And that's what we see from Goddardzi in Category 2, a rider that can go uphill very, very well indeed. Now, will it be the result he's looking for? Gadazi at the moment pushing over the top. The chase is starting to pick up behind. I don't think he's going to be left to run to the finish. And there's Bengston in here climbing well as well. And you can see it's starting to break this group again. This is the chase group. They've got to get over the top. They've got to go into pursuit mode and really start to close down. Gadazi with that lead, but look at this, the group fractured in its chase behind.
Oh, they are indeed. And just dropping back into the category 3 race, and Rafael Amaro now at the 79.1 kilometre marker. He has indeed come through that final sprint checkpoint of the day, and I'm just doing a little double check. It's looking like he is clear by, I want to say, well, 12 seconds. 12 seconds clear.
Oh, you had me worried when you said 7.
No, 12 seconds clear at that checkpoint from Morgan Fournier, Kansara et al. And it's looking like he's holding it at the moment, though the push is really on. And Nicholas Arago behind, really starting to drive the front of the group.
And Nicola Squillari's got to go. Nick Squillari has got to push here for the Take This squad. He is in that yellow skin suit. It's at risk. The time gap between Squillari and Amaro at the start of the stage, 7.46 seconds. Come on, Rafael. 7.46 seconds is what you need. He's got 13, 14 on Squillari. Arago's at 10 seconds trying to bridge across, but this pushes everything. Come on. There's a yellow skin suit at stake. There's the overall at stake here. You can see him digging deep in here. The time is ticking away. That banner cannot come soon enough. It's another 700 meters to go. Amaro with the gap. Squillari is not working hard enough behind. I think he's capitulated the GC here overall, and he's now looking to move up, potentially using that sprint. He's not chasing. Arago's in between here, but Amaro giving it everything.
Yeah, Amaro is indeed dialing this for the finish. Arago is pushing on. He's now 6 seconds clear of the chase group. The chase group, well, that is 17 riders, and it's 17 riders meandering down the road looking at the view in Zurich, because Amaro is about to come through the finish line.
Rafael Amaro in the scorching heat in France, riding in that pain cave. He was brave, he was bold, and he will take the stage win here today on stage 4 of the MyWhoosh Championship. He's going to take away the yellow jersey, and he's going to do it in style because he will have seconds to spare from all the rest of the group. Rafael Amaro, stage winner, yellow jersey winner. Behind Arago takes second. Fourier is going to take third. Dijesh, Warwick, Kansara and Montoya come chasing in behind. We're going to get those results confirmed. Amaro, who goes through 11.221 seconds clear of Arago, 12.364 from Fourier, and at the moment, just looking to the time gap to Squillari, 30.737 seconds back. Squillari not holding it. It's not a lot for Mount Fuji, no. I will give you that, but while I'll take every second I can get, and Amaro took the chance, and it paid off for him today.
Oh, Zurich sprint, the final sprint of the day, the checkpoint, and this is category 2 coming through, and they're going to run into that checkpoint very, very shortly. They're on the descent now, as you can see, down to Lake Zurich itself, and then the long run into the finish line in the heart of the city. It's a big group of category 2 riders. At last call, it was 28 riders in this leading group. I can't believe we've done 3 laps of Zurich, 1,398 meters of climb. It will have been 80.8 kilometers of racing, and well, they're all still together, 28 of them.
28 of them. This is a real big push here as they move on in category 2. Remember, it's category 6, 5, 4, 3 have already finished. The leaders already in and across the line. Category 2 will be our next leaders to come in and through that finishing line, who will be able to take this out. We have got our yellow jersey wearer in here in category 2. That is Maciej Mendakowicz. Can Mendakowicz hold on? We're not going to see surely another late escape. Damsgaard's gone off the front though. He's gone at nearly 7 watts per kilo. Is that going to be enough to break clear of this group? I'm not sure it is. I think you need a sprint around about that sort of 11 to 14 watts per kilo to keep clear, and then you've got to be able to hold the pace afterwards. And that's just so hard.
Well, Van Hee's coming. Van Hee will not let anybody go. Van Hee wants the top of the tree. He wants that yellow jersey here in the category 2 race. He's coming up onto the wheel of Nikolai Damsgaard. He's going to manage the pace, manage the effort. There's still a 2-second gap back to Godzari and Peter Milostic. Peter Milostic, I think, is the dangerous rider to have behind. Guerra is there, Ritter is there, the Cairns are there, Bengston is there. There's a lot of dangerous riders behind as we drop in with Mashando. He's in that pain cave, but he's parcel of this category 2 race. The yellow jersey of Mendakowicz is there as well. Damsgaard and Van Hee are clear by 4 seconds at the moment. They're coming up to the 600 metre to go marker, and well, Peter Milostic now on the front, kicks at 10 watts per kilo. 4 seconds is too much with this gap now as a run into the finish.
Well, here we go. This is the run for the finish. Van Hee goes over the top. They've got a long way to go. It's a big kick from a long way out, and Van Hee has gone over the top. He wants to take away the yellow jersey of Maciej Mendakowicz. Mendakowicz was 4.812 of a second clear at the end of the race. Behind the sprinters starting to wind up motorway, coming at 10 watts per kilo. So is Godanzi. It's up to 11, but look at this. Van Hee is going to make it to the finish. He's going to push over the line. Van Hee takes the stage with Damsgaard's going to take second. Milostic will take third. It's going to come down to those time gaps to see whether he's done enough to take away the yellow jersey and to snatch it back from the rider who took it yesterday. That's Maciej Mendakowicz. 4.812 seconds was the time gap that he needed.
I tell you, Van challenging and zoning the mountains picture.
He has, and he's done it in style. I've just checked. So he needed 4.812 to take away the jersey from Maciej Mendakowicz. Maciej Mendakowicz came over the line 5.531 seconds. So it looks like Van Hee's late charge to the line that saw him go clear has taken him back. The yellow skid suit, the leader of the general classification.
Well, I'll tell you something, category 1 is a light and a fire, because Vinke, Osborne and Wu have gone clear. The 79.4 kilometre marker. Ollie Jones 35 seconds back and on a charge actually by the look of it. He's around 350 metres behind them. I'm not sure he's got enough road to close them down. Over 2 minutes back, Van Elsten, Safra, Zaidi, Chugals et al. They are the riders chasing. At the moment though, it is Wu, Osborne and Vinke, and it's looking to me like that is lining up for a sprint today.
I think it's got to be surely. We know that Wu would have tried on the climb, but he's not got the sprint firepower to match Vinke and Osborne. When it comes to a sprint out of the two, your money would surely be on Michael Vinke, but there's a very big difference in the power, isn't there, and how it's delivered from Vinke to Osborne.
Yeah, there is a very big difference, because Jason Osborne tends, we've seen historically, to have a higher level of power. Vinke a lower level of power but lasts longer. However, Michael Vinke recently has shown us a great turn of heel with some big kicks recently in the last couple of weeks. Now, interestingly, Ollie Jones has picked up his pace at the moment behind. He's banking on the fact they're going to be playing cat and mouse for the last kilometre, and that he can close that gap down. That is what he's trying to do at the moment. But Osborne, Vinke and Wu are lining this up. You'll say Wu on the back of the group. Vinke leading it out at the moment. Osborne in the middle. The two teammates versus Wu. But this, well, Osborne I think is going to launch this. Vinke goes as well, and Wu is going to run into the gap.
Woo's going to run into the gap if he can. He's going to 12.5 watts per kilo, but the absolute watts is what matters here. Vink starting to open up. Vink in second place at the start of the day here. Well over 1,000 watts, 1,100 watts going. Now Osborne is coming up alongside. He goes over the top. Osborne pushes here. Osborne's going to take it to the line. He goes over the line. He takes the stage victory. Vink in 2, Woo in 3.
Wow, what a push, what an effort. Ollie Jones now looking to come in into fourth place today. So with the 3 riders through, Osborne from Vink from Woo, Ollie Jones, he stayed with them for as long as he could today. He's adamant he tried to defend that yellow skin suit when he took 3 wins on the first 3 stages. Ollie Jones is going to come through for fourth place today. It's going to be around 30 seconds he's going to lose on GC today, but great riding and great racing from Ollie Jones. And Stefan Van Elst are 18 seconds clear of Leonard Jugels. Hayden Pucker, Paul Skierski, Dan Turek are all just 30 seconds behind. They've also got Michael Knudsen for company. Can I just say credit to Skierski and Pucker, the 2 young riders, for bringing the group back that were in front of them.
Absolutely brilliant and fantastic to see the power going down. The way these riders have been racing and riding day after day after day, brilliant to see, and it's great to have this stage race that goes over 8 days, 7 stages over 8 days. One is a rest day when we have Sunday rest from in between. This is really, really all about being able to put those efforts out day after day into deep, because you're going to have to find something really, really special in that run to the line. Jones trying to do that as he made his way in just to get that extra little bit of time back after he lost it on the climb. This is the run for the line. You've got Said Safrazedi against Stefan Van Elst on your screen. In person on the left-hand side of your screen, he's just in front of the moment. You can see Jugels coming up along the side. I think here's to go in towards the line. Van Elst is going to go through in front. Then it's going to be Safrazedi going through. So then a left rider in between. We're going to drop back to Leonard Jugels now. He is distanced in between. So Osborne in 1, Vink in 2, Woo in 3, Jones in 4, Van Elst in 5, Safrazedi in 6. It's going to be Jugels coming through in 7th position. And these riders know that seconds are going to count. Every single second.
Well, Paul Skierski going to the seconds, but he's battling Hayden Pucker for the young rider competition, and he's absolutely darling this here. Pucker now opening up behind. They're both trying to take Michael Knudsen on the line, but Paul Skierski, what power, what timing, taking Hayden Pucker in that young riders competition. The young riders competition between these 2 riders, Paul Skierski and Hayden Pucker, so close. Even the white jersey can't decide where it's going to land.
It certainly can't. Don't forget, of course, all the results on your screens and from ourselves are provisional at the moment until verified the checks are done. Jason Osborne coming in and across the line. He takes away the race victory here today from Michael Vink, Yunfei Woo and Ollie Jones. The long-time 4 breakaway riders becoming 3 on that final ascent, the final sets of ascents within the world of Zurich here on MyWhoosh. Great riding, and it does mean that the provisional GC, and this is just by my maths, so I'm going to give you that wording right now, it's as dodgy as it comes, but by my reckoning, Michael Vink now has that race lead from Jason Osborne, with Woo in 3rd and Ollie Jones into 4th place. They are your 1, 2, 3, 4 of the division at the moment, but the riders are going to be making their way now into a recovery zone, hopefully, because stage 4 is done. Well, break or break through it, said Emma, on the strapline on the bottom there. And I think a number of people broken by the climbs, a number of people really struggling with those. A breakthrough from the leaders in category 1 who made that breakaway and then were able to go clear of Jones in Vink, in Osborne and in Woo. They are our top 3 hits. They can see that time gap back to Jones, 31 seconds, 2 minutes to Van Elst and Safrazedi, 2:20 to Jugels. You know, we're talking minutes gaps now in that top 10. We're not talking the seconds that we had when we started.
And we knew that was going to happen. We knew with 3 laps of the Zurich course today, on stage 4 of the MyWhoosh Championships. We knew we were going to start to see bigger time gaps come in. And that has happened in Category 1, that those top 3, I think, will battle it out again tomorrow when we head to Japan and Mount Fuji. It is going to be one massive climb. Though the thing that surprised me today, Matt, was the volume of sprinting in those lower categories, the size of some of those packs, and the fact that in some of our categories overnight, it's going to be seconds still in terms of that yellow jersey.
Yes, I've got to agree with you. I mean, I was surprised in some ways to see not so much the sprints, but the volume of riders involved in each of those sprints. Some of those sprints not breaking apart, the differential in power not there, maybe some opportunities not taken, maybe just some tired legs in there. It does mean that when we move on, as you say, to Fuji, we're going to have a real mix of racing, because we've got some people reclaiming yellow jerseys, we've got some riders defending yellow jerseys, we've got some bigger time gaps, we've got some very tight time gaps, we've got 0.2 of a second separating first and second places, and the same's replicated in the women's race that we saw earlier on. And I think that now means that both the women's and the men's races going across into Mount Fuji, you've got to be looking at what they do, their tactics tomorrow. We've got an early climb. We've got the first climb coming in, that first checkpoint finishes at 16.7k. We then go on to Mount Fuji with the next checkpoint on the climb before we reach the actual finish of the stage for the men at 66.3k. We've also got an early climb for the women, and I think because of that, you've got an early climb and you've got the big climb at the end. Tactics, how you ride, that's going to be really important after today's really hard stage.
Well, I think there's a couple of things at play with. One, the GC contenders. It is a really big GC competition tomorrow. It's also the final 2 climb checkpoints in the climbing competition overall on the MyWhoosh Championships. So after tomorrow's stage, the climbing championships is wrapped up. The GC still has 2 more stages to go, but we've got a rest day after tomorrow. So I'm expecting some really hard racing and maybe a little less cagey racing from some of those categories who may be saving a little bit back for tomorrow. They're going to have the opportunity for a rest day before we go into the individual time trial on stage 6, and then what I would class as a traditional Sprinters Day finish on stage 7. So for me, well, it's all about the mountains tomorrow. It's all about the GC. It's all about being brave, having the legs, and having the recovery.
Recovery is key. I have our riders are making sure that they refuel, re-energise, and get plenty of rest before tomorrow. I'm going to say, I agree 100%, Emma, there. It is going to be about GC. It is going to be about the climbs competition. That climbs competition wrapping up. So those ones are going to be very critical. Some of the climbs competitions, again, we've got some leaders who are clear and now realistically should be pulled back. But don't forget, Mount Fuji, the very last climb, has got big points, triple points on there, 15, 12, 10, 8 and 6 for that final climb. So if it's at all close coming into the final climb in those competitions, it could really change around. You need big point gaps coming into that last climb in that climb competition. That is all to come tomorrow here on MyWhoosh. Thank you very much for watching. Do make sure you subscribe if you've enjoyed this and get notified when MyWhoosh goes live. You can do that by clicking the subscribe button on YouTube or on Twitch TV. Make sure you give MyWhoosh a follow on Instagram or on Facebook is at MyWhoosh. You can get in touch with Emma at Viking_Emma. You can get in touch with myself, that is at MattBixaBane. And don't forget, of course, we want you to download the app on iOS, on Android and on Windows. Get on board, come and join us, come race, ride or train on MyWhoosh, the amazing platform. Make sure you save it for the good stuff. We want to see you on what is going to be the good stuff of stages tomorrow. It is Japan. It's the hard mountain stage of the MyWhoosh Championships for 2025. It's going to be a blast. We will see you there. Thank you to the team behind the scenes, to our riders for giving us entertainment, to you for watching. But from Emma and myself, stay safe. We'll see you for a big blast of a big, great, big, monumental, gigantic, gargantuan mountain. I'm run out of superlatives for things that are massive and big and uphill. We'll find some more for tomorrow.
Mount Fuji.
Mount Fuji. We'll see you there.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.